Hagerty is the world's largest provider of specialty insurance for enthusiast vehicles and supports keeping car culture alive through youth programs, the Historic Vehicle Association, the RPM Foundation, and more. Hagerty is home to key programs such as the Hagerty Drivers Club, Hagerty Drive Share, Hagerty Valuation Tools, the Hagerty Drivers Club magazine, and much, much more. For more information, visit their website at hagerty.com. PCA Sim Racing is proud to have Hagerty Motorsports as its 2021 title sponsor.
Since 1984, Hagerty has been the worldwide leader in collector car insurance. Everything they do is geared towards enabling and enhancing the experience of automotive enthusiasts and making sure the vehicles that we all love and the lifestyles that revolve around them don't just survive, but thrive well into the future. Services include the Hagerty Drivers Club, Drive Share by Hagerty, the shop, and much, much more to fuel car culture. Hagerty, let's drive together. Good evening, race fans, and welcome to Podium Esports coverage of the 7th round of Series 6, live from iRacing's virtual Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta in Braselton, Georgia. This is an event of PCA Sim Racing presented by Hagerty. I'm Richard Whitewood, Ricky Springer and Taylor Burris join me in the booth. And our producer for the evening is Ryan Bauer. Ryan using those amazing Dougie beard cameras as always. Oh, Ricky, this track is definitely a unique one, and not only the host of the Petit Le Mans, but a test track for a lot of race organizations in America.
100%, and this track is well renowned not only in IMSA but also motorbike. The AMA Superbike Series comes here as well, to Formula Drift, to anything you can think of, Rachel. This track in Braselton, Georgia is one of the most exciting tracks in the United States, in my opinion. I've had the pleasure of coming here several times, and just a little fact for everybody out there, the Linear Speedway, if you are a current iRacer, you've probably driven on that track quite a few times, is right across the street. Used as extra parking here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, but this 2.54 mile track with 12 turns, opened in 1970, is going to give these drivers a run for their money all night.
Very much is, and we look forward to some great racing. Of course, the roof track will be our car for the first two races, Challenge and Sport, with the 911 being our car of choice for the Club and Pro classes. The Porsche 911, of course, having just received an update in iRacing's Week 13 update that just happened. So we're excited to see what happens with that and how the car behaves to people. But I have terrible news, Ricky.
All right, I'm waiting on the news. What is the terrible news we got?
Well, the terrible news is that after last week's amazing race where we had the pole sitter win race 1, second place in the grid win race 2, third place in the grid win race 3, and fourth place in the grid win race 4, I made a bet halfway through before 3 and 4 that if they did it, I would buy a lottery ticket. I didn't buy just one. After their phenomenal performance, I bought 2 lottery tickets. I didn't win, unfortunately. But then again, I wasn't expecting anything different. But either way, last week's race was amazing. That was bad news, by the way. That was me being miserable about not winning the lottery. But I guess if I had, I wouldn't be here. So, you know, who knows? Last week was incredible racing. We saw some phenomenal on-track action, close racing for the lead in 3 of the 4 races. What are we going to see here? How does the racing typically evolve in these kind of cars here at Road Atlanta?
Well, Road Atlanta is a very difficult course and really gives you that good mixture of slow corners and long sweeping corners, as long as the long back straightaway with a slight curve to it ending down in the chicane at the back half of the course. These drivers not only going to have to deal with the blind corners as we see here coming up to turn 2, the left-hander and then the right-hander over the curves right here that you have to hit oh so perfect, but then the climb down the hill through the S's. This is going to produce great racing, Rachel, of drivers trying to take it too wide here and using up all of the curbing as they go up the hill, and some good drafting and slipstream battles down the back straightaway into the chicane.
Very much is. Well, don't forget that the challenge class here is brought to you by Z1 Dashboard. They've just updated to version 2021.1, and it has just been released. With that comes the new Z1 Designer. The Designer lets you create your own custom dashboards for use with the Z1 Dashboard. So in addition to the almost 200 standard car dashes, track maps, standings, and specialty displays, you can add your own custom designs, placing the data you want exactly where you want it. Remember, the Z1 Dashboard also takes care of all the engineering and strategy for you. Where's your competition? When should you pit? How much fuel do you need? Who's in front or behind you? How's the weather? Are you gaining or losing to other drivers? Make sure you're maximizing your on-track performance with the Z1 Dashboard. Remember to use the discount code PCA21 when purchasing to get a 15% discount on both the standard and track license. Using the Z1 Dashboard to examine your laps is an essential tool to becoming a faster driver. To find out more, visit www.z1dashboard.com. And with that, we're going to go straight to our starting grid here tonight for the race. On pole tonight, Stephen Kemp from Zone 10, with second place at number 12 is Benjamin Loving. Glenn Dennis, last week's winner, in third from Zone 2. Fourth place at number 6 is GR Gregory, a specialist at these undulating tracks. Matt Dialosa in Zone 9 is in fifth place. Sixth place at number 1 is Terrence Strong. Seventh, zone number 6 is Volker Krebs. Zone 3 is Tim Pruitt in 8th. Zone 5 is Aaron Nations in 9th. And zone number 3 is David Purdy in 10th. 11th is zone number 1's Kim Frick, with zone 7's Jason Sherwood in 12th. Zone 13's Greg Palmer in 13th. Again, he always likes to be there. 14th, zone number 8's Albert DeBater, and 15th, zone number 1's Adam Holland. Rest of those starting positions on your screens as we get ready to race here at Road Atlanta for your challenge class. The first of tonight's 4 races. Don't forget, it's always a bumper night of racing here with the PCA. You get 4 races for the price of 1, and that price, for you the viewer, is 0. What a bargain. You definitely want some of that. Cars on the grid here. We're going to have the pace car dive off pretty quickly. Ricky, through the chicane, under the bridge, it dives off. We go racing.
Yeah, these drivers going to have to get right on the loud pedal. Turn 1 going to be a very, I guess, controversial spot all night that we'll have to see if these drivers are going to take it easy. Turn 1 straight up the hill, and that curb on the outside can definitely bite you, Rachel. You get one tire off, and that wall comes up quick on the outside, so these drivers may possibly take it easy, but in PCA competition, these drivers push for every single inch, and with the way the points look right now, there's a couple of drivers that are trying to catch up to Glenn Dennis.
They are indeed, and we're going to get ourselves going here in just a second as we get the cars moving here behind the iRacing pace car. And I can't wait for tonight. This is a great track. I look forward to seeing what they can do for us here as the pace car does in fact move away. The field there will be led off by Kemp and Loving on that front row. Not all of the field will make it through here. We've got 31 cars in the field tonight. Not sure if they'll all make it through the chicane before we go green. Pace car will dive pit road, and we'll get that flag now. Green flag flies, and it's a big jump there, but the start was given to Kemp as it should have been. Run down the straight here as we head towards turn 1. Tricky turn 3 here, of course, blind apex, which makes things quite troublesome as the cars. Concertina behind into that big braking zone. Through will come. Everyone going through, no problem so far. 2 by 2 they came. And across the apex they'll come. No issues so far. Got run round. Oh, big trouble. It could be Tong. I'm thinking it could be Terrence Tong. There it is, Terrence Tong sideways in the S's. He was side by side with the 13. The 13 came across the curbs and bonked into him there. Came right across the actual apex. Turned him. Big pile up of traffic there, unfortunately. Dialosa is also off. We've had him lose it in turn 5, which is one of those places where we see it happen so much, Ricky. Turn 5 seems to be the one where people just whip it round, lose it, and oh, hard impact into the barrier for him. Unfortunate for 2 of our fast drivers here tonight, that's happened.
Yeah, in turn 5, like you said, Rachel, a very difficult spot. You drive right up that hill, and the fastest way is to get onto that curbing and really use as much of it as possible. Unfortunately, Dialosa just used a little bit too much of that curbing there and got pointed the wrong way, ended up into the wall. But these drivers tried to take it a little clean, and I saw a lot of single file driving through turn 1 all the way up to turn 3, the blind apex, and these drivers trying to take it pretty easy. But the front 2 right now, Rachel, are putting a little bit of a gap on the rest of the field.
They are so far. Kemp and Dennis putting this in go and seeing what they can pull out today. as I'm trying to scroll through here to quickly locate where it had those notes. Yes, here we go, Challenge Championship. Of course, this is where we're looking now at what we're seeing for the championship positioning. Glenn Dennis is currently sitting on 1,594 points. 1,558 behind him is J.R. Gregory, who's in second place. Kemp, who's currently leading the race, is in third on 1,432. So he needs a big result here, and he would really benefit, I think, here, Ricky, from either J.R. Gregory or Glenn Dennis not finishing or finishing very low.
Yeah, absolutely, certainly. And, you know, right now it's looking like he just has a little bit more speed down through the S's. That seems to be where he's pulling on Dennis just the slightest bit, but right down there into the braking zone, it seems Dennis has those braking zones figured out down the back straightaway and into the chicane at the back half of the course. But J.R. Gregory was almost involved in a couple of accidents there on the original start, had to have some A-plus wreck avoidance, is in the fourth spot right now. So Kemp is looking pretty good here, but still a lot of time left. We're not even 10 minutes into the race yet.
We are not indeed. It is really not a lot of time left here, or gone by either. These races are so fast. As what we're looking at clockwise right now, we've got 26 minutes, 47 seconds, so we're only 4 minutes in. Rick, you made it sound like we're, really gone through some time here, but out front, yep, Kemp and Dennis making good headway here. Behind them, Volker Krebs leading J.R. Gregory in the third and fourth. Loving is in fifth place with Tim Pruitt behind him. They've got some separation there as we go back towards Palmer, Holland, Sherwood. And we've got a threesome here with Hagerty Brewer about to be passed by Chris Pippin, who's on a tear.
Yeah, and this is a really good spot at the course to try and get some passes. Another hard braking zone up to the top half of the course before you get to the back straightaway. And, the back straightaway of this course, Rachel, if anybody ever has the absolute pleasure of coming to watch a race here at Michelin Raceway, it's such a phenomenal place to sit down towards the chicane right before the drivers get on the brakes up on the hill. It's such an awesome place to sit. You really get to see the compass and get a real handle on the speed of these cars as they go down there into a hard braking zone and slow down to almost 50 miles an hour for that first left-hand corner.
Yeah, it's a huge braking zone there to really kind of set you up for that sequence. And it's important you carry that speed, of course, to make it through the next section, to carry as much as you possibly can. Keeping our eyes here on this race as we come now up towards one. That's Purdy ahead of them as I'm still keeping my eyes here on 11th and 10th. That breakthrough spot. Pippin looking for Sherwood here as time is still very busy. You see him coming over the crest there just above you. Diving in. P10 is Jason Sherwood. P11 is Chris Pippin. And going for whatever they can here and trying to find more speed. But it looks like Sherwood's just got a bit of a lag here over his competitor. Although I think he just slowed down significantly out of 5. Sorry about that, Ricky.
All good, but I believe he just got up on the curbs there a little bit, kind of like what Matt Dialosa did on lap 1, just using a little bit too much of that curbing, and smart on his part to back out a little bit. But P5 right now, Benjamin Loving, as he goes his way down the back straightaway, and you can see that slipstream about a car length gain hard into the braking zone here. So we're about to have a 3-car battle for that third spot right now. J.R. Gregory in the middle of that.
Very much as they come through the S's now. Oh, not the S's, sorry, the chicane. And under that Fox Factory Bridge. Diving it down now. Huge drop here onto that front straight at Road Atlanta. Going to be 5 laps in now with your leaders. They are Kemp and Glenn Dennis. Kemp's broken away here. He's been a big gap. Look at Hagerty Brewer there on the camera. Hagerty is all over the back here of Sherwood. Gaining a lot of time. Pippin made it through, of course. Terrence Tong recovering after his first lap incident. We'll have to see what happened from that one, but I do see we have an Aaron Nations picking up a orange zone black flag from the start of our race. So could answer your question.
Yeah, and that's a very important rule that these drivers need to keep in the back of their minds, is that orange zone rule. We've seen a lot of penalties dished out this season in PCA competition of drivers violating that, and these drivers are just going to have to be careful. I mean, in the first lap of the race, Rachel, you could have so much go wrong in a race. We saw with Matt Dialosa and Terrence Tong getting around there at the beginning of the race could really affect the rest of this 30-minute race. 30 minutes seems like a pretty good amount of time, but when you're running 1 minute 20-second lap times on average, that time can cut down very quickly and limit your time to get back up to the front of the field.
Seriously can, and that will have a big impact on how this all opens up. P4 there, Benjamin Loving. Wow, he is loving his chances right now as JR Gregory firmly fixed in his sights. Diving down the S's here, up towards turn 5. A very tricky corner. It's so easy to get off balance here. Just in terms of how it's set up, Ricky, what is it about that corner there that really upsets cars? We see it in every class.
Well, really, it's all at the end of the S's. Honestly, Rachel, of course, the unnumbered corners right after turn 4, after you're coming out of turn 3, those little S's, of course, not numbered corners, but definitely most important, those curbs are very tall, and if you just get 2 tires on there, it'll really upset the car. And going off into turn 5, if you're not in there needle straight, then you'll have a serious issue getting up on that curb. And if you carry too much speed, that gravel right on the other side of turn 5 can catch the right rear and send you straight at that concrete barrier.
Definitely can, as right now, just changing our focus back towards the lead of this race, because Glenn Dennis has found some horsepower. And as we're seeing the leaders start to pass lap traffic, oh, big jump here by Glenn Dennis. Look at that! How quickly he closed in on Stephen Kemp through turn 1. That lap car freaked out and jumped off the track. They wanted nothing to do with this, as big move there. Big acceleration. There's more lap cars ahead, which could also play a factor. Glenn Dennis on charge. He wants that position from the 137.
Yeah, and falling back just a little bit, but Glenn Dennis, obviously a veteran in PCA competition when it comes to his driving this season. Glenn Dennis has put on a clinic for most of the season, but really has just been trying to get up to Stephen Kemp this whole entire race here, and you can see into those braking zones, even right there at the top half of the course. Glenn Dennis just much better on the brakes than Stephen Kemp, but it's all going to come down to how you navigate this lap traffic here, Rachel. Down through the S's, it's going to be very difficult to pass. It's almost if you're in a battle with somebody, you're going to have to wait till those braking zones or the back straightaway to really get a run on lap traffic and to make those moves.
You really are, and positioning is everything, especially a track with such big straightaways as Road Atlanta, and that is something they will have to factor into the race for themselves tonight, as that's P8 Adam Holland there on your screens. He is chasing down Purdy just ahead of him, heading through the chicane now. David Purdy there, that 010 machine under the Fox Factory Bridge, diving it down now for that big roller coaster final corner. Couple of cars hitting pit road for repairs. A lot of traffic up ahead of them here. This could be a good pick if they can get up there, of course. We're seeing some great times by Purdy and Holland, so everything's possible, but this will bring them up to Volker Krebs if they keep running this well.
Yeah, and Volker Krebs was in that battle with JR Gregory and Benjamin Loving, and coming out of 10B ended up going around, so that's why he's back to the 7th spot now and trying to work his way back up. I apologize, the 6th position now, but that Haribo car trying to work its way back up through the field.
Definitely. Well, more lap track. Oh, that got terrifying at the start finish. Oh, quick replay here. What happened with Dennis and Kemp a second ago? That was nerve-wracking as a lap car panicked, got a little sideways there, and caught a little bit of grass as it tried to move over, bringing it right into the crosshairs here of your leaders.
Yeah, and that was a really close call right there for our 2 leaders. So we take a look at the instant replay here down the back straightaway. Coming into the top 2 corners, 6 and 7, as they work their way to 8. And like you said, Rachel, lap car seemed to get a little spooked there and trying to get out of the way, holding to the right side of the course. Catches the grass a little bit. Glenn Dennis had the best wreck avoidance here. You can see that car catch the grass right there and just shoots the inside. 2 tires in the grass there, but way to get out of the way for the lap car, but a little bit of issue there, and Glenn Dennis was hard on the wheel.
Very hard on the wheel there, as he just managed to dodge that in the replay. Wow, that was incredible. Of course, they are now through the S's, heading through 4, up towards 5 at the moment, as the gap's opened up a bit more here, so I think Kemp's feeling a little bit more secure as things sit, but Loving... Oh, Pruitt's had an issue. Pruitt has slowed down significantly. I'm not sure what's happened to him, but Tim Pruitt has just let even Adam Holland through there. trying to work out what happened to him. Oh, he took the grass in turn 1. He missed the corner, went wide, got the grass, and had to take it slowly across the apex there. Oh, big commiserations for Tim Pruitt. Really had a great race going, but this track will bite you if you let it.
Yeah, and it seemed the rear end for Tim Pruitt there just stepped out just the slightest bit, and trying to catch that machine ended up going off in turn 1. And that's one of the worst spots to go off here, Rachel. When you're on the course, you gain so much time through turn 1 on slower cars, and if you go off there, as we ride on board with the driver right here, you can see the speed you carry through turn 1. If you get off into that grass, you're losing several seconds on the cars in front and behind you.
Definitely are. It could be incredibly tricky here when that sort of thing occurs, but right now, Hagerty Brewer is trying to hold off Terrence Tong for 10th place. It's been one of our battle sites in this race all night long. This 10th place has had multiple people in it, but they all seem to want to fight around it.
Yeah, and those two drivers are definitely hard in the battle right now, Rachel. Terrence Tong, of course, that issue at the beginning of the race. And it seems every time we talk about Terrence, he's driving his way back up through the field. We saw this happen at Mid-Ohio and then a couple other courses as well, including Long Beach, trying to drive his way back up through the field after either just an unfortunate qualifying attempt or an incident early on in the race. But this battle for the lead heating up now is only a couple car lengths separating the front two.
They really are still super close, but it's been this way for a few laps now. We've seen this sort of action, and neither seems willing to give it up. Here, Benjamin Loving, we've just heard, has also lost it too. That is unfortunate for him. We're really shaking at this running order here, but right now it's still Dennis and Kemp who are pushing for the win in this race. And I think it's about that time, Ricky. What do you think?
Yeah, I believe so, Rachel.
Well, with that in mind, folks, as we approach the halfway point of tonight's Challenge Class race, it's time to bring you the Midway Race Report brought to you by Z1 Dashboard. And version 2021.1 of the dashboard has just been released. With it comes the new Z1 Designer. Z1 Designer allows you to create your own custom dashboards for use with the Z1 Dashboard app. So in addition to almost 200 standard car dashes, track maps, standings, and specialty displays, you can add your own custom designs, placing the data you want exactly where you want it. Remember, the Z1 Dashboard also takes care of all the engineering and strategy for you. Where's your competition? When should you pit? How much fuel do you need? Who's in front or behind you? How's the weather? Are you gaining or losing any of the drivers? Make sure you're maximizing your on-track performance with the Z1 Dashboard. And remember to use the discount code PCA21 when purchasing to get a 15% discount on either the standard or track license. Using the Z1 Dashboard to examine your laps is an essential tool to becoming a faster driver. To find out more, visit www.z1dashboard.com. With that, let's take a look at our running order. Stephen Kemp from the Northern region of Zone 10 is leading the way tonight. Kemp has had a great race with the way things are playing out. Started pole, still running it. P2's Glenn Dennis in the Potomac region from Zone 2. 20 car started third. Here's Cody. Oh, he's going to be out! Oh my god! That just happened! Right in front of us. We'll get back to that. I guess J.R. Gregory is now second. Oh, we've got a replay for you quickly. Coming over here, and I don't know who the other car was there, but car loses it in front of him almost at the last second. Nowhere for Dennis to go. And boom, confetti. Oh, heartbreak for Glenn Dennis. But we move on. We'll come back to this discussion afterwards. J.R. Gregory, the Oregon region driver of zone number 6 in the 218, is now in second. Third place will be Volker Krebs, who's the Canada West region driver of zone number 6. Volker started in 7th, is now in 3rd. Fourth place will be Adam Holland, Upper Canada region zone number 1 in the 144. He's running 4th. Chris Pippin is in 5th. He's a massive mover from the Kansas City region. The 29 car of zone number 10 up from 21st to 5th. Insane run from him. Up from 12th to 6th is Jason Sherwood of the Diablo region, zone number 7. He is up 5 places. In 7th from 8th on the grid is the Peach State region driver of zone number 3, Tim Pruitt. Also making some moves after he unfortunately lost time with a run off the track. Terrence Tong was involved in a first lap incident that wasn't his fault. The Upper Canada region driver of zone 1 is fighting back hard here, currently running in 8th. P number 9 is Avjit Brewer of the Mid-Ohio region. Zone number 4, the 991, clearly a Porsche fan, obviously, is running up from 16th in 8th, so he's up 8 places. P10 is Jack Stevenson of the Chicago region. Zone number 13. Jack is currently up 16 places from 26th.
In the 11th spot, it's going to be the driver Robert Benson from the Ransport region of Zone 1. Started 18th spot, currently running in 11th with a little bit of damage to that machine, but trying to make it work nevertheless. 12th spot currently is going to be Craig Smith, the number 74 machine, the Mid-Ohio region driver from Zone 4. Started in the 17th spot, has moved up a little bit to the 12th place position. Michael from the Oregon region of Zone 6, the 021 machine, started 23rd up to the 13th spot, but a car right behind him charging is going to maybe put him in a battle here in the next couple laps, but we'll have to see how that one plays out after our midway race break. Driver he's in the battle with is the P14 driver, the 010 of David Purdy from the Peach State region of Zone 3. Driver started in 10th, down a couple of positions with a few accidents in the 14th spot, non-track now. Kim Frick is going to be the 15th place driver. The number 66 machine from Zone 1 started in the 11th spot. Again, is down a little bit in the 15th spot now, trying to work his way up through the field and is getting very close to that David Purdy machine. So he's in a battle up in front. 16th spot, going to be Stefan from the Upper Canada region of Zone 1, starting in the 29th spot, all the way up to 16th, the huge mover in tonight's race here at Road Atlanta, hoping to get a good finish here at this track tonight. Glenn Dennis back out on track. One of the talking points we saw happen at the beginning of the midway race break, starting in third spot all the way down to the 17th from the Potomac region of Zone 2, number 20, falling back, our current points leader. 18th spot in the first car lap down is going to be Benjamin Loving, the 407 Florida Citrus region driver of Zone 12. Started in the second spot, all the way back to the 18th spot now after an accident, trying to work his way back up, but being a lap down and make it very difficult. 19th spot going to be Daniel Douglas, the number 57 driver from the Hill Country region of Zone 5. Started in 22nd up to the 19th spot and looking to push a little bit forward as Benjamin Loving just in front. Rounding out the top 20 will be Andrew Smiley from the Connecticut Valley region of Zone 1. The 167 driver started in the 22nd spot up to 19th now. 20th, I apologize.
21st tonight will be Albert Ubeta from the San Diego region of Zone number 8. Albert's down from 14th place. 22nd is James Hemming of the Chesapeake region, Zone number 2. The 986 car is up 8 positions from 30th on the grid. Down 3 from where he started in 20th, Ankerberger Son from the Northeast region of Zone 1 is the 248 car. He's trying to recover what he lost. 24th place is down from 13th. That's Greg Palmer of the Milwaukee region of Zone number 13 in the 24 car. John Bradley's up 2 positions from 27th right now in the Ohio Valley region of Zone number 4. Chris Ramirez there, the Lone Star region of Texas, Zone number 5. The 22 machine is currently up from 31st by 6 places. Andrew McCune of the Rocky Mountain region is up 1 from 28th right now. The Rocky Mountain region driver from Zone number 9 in 26th. Stacey Owata of the Canada West region, Zone number 6, is down 4 from starting in 24th. I believe we have Albert Ubeta off the track there, but 29th is Bruce Friobi, down from 25th place, Red River region of Zone number 10, trying to recover some time. And I believe he will be our last car on the track. So that, of course, is your Challenge Class Midway Race Break, brought to you by Z1 Dashboard. Let's return to the action on track here, as out front it's still Gregory. Oh, Kemp, sorry, with Gregory chasing him now for the win. Gregory has caught up significantly here on Kemp. I'm genuinely impressed by how much he's caught up, but wow, Glenn Dennis is on track, of course, he got his repair in, but that car was killed. He is in 15th right now, trying to get anything, and this is exactly what the likes of Gregory and Kemp needed for those championship points. A massive, massive, massive incident for Glenn Dennis. This is championship changing, potentially.
Yes, Rachel, and a lot has developed since the midway race break. J.R. Gregory, of course, ran down Stephen Kemp. We saw our driver, Glenn Dennis, the current points leader, ended up getting in an accident with a lap car, which is the same thing that had happened to him at Long Beach, if you remember, Rachel, while leading the race. And Adam Holland, out of the 4th spot, just had an accident coming out of the final corner. See exactly what happened from the 4th spot. And, ooh, just cut that grass right there on the outside. Wasn't quite able to save it, and that tall concrete wall there isn't very forgiving, Rachel.
No, that tends to be one of the properties of concrete that we're pretty sure about, actually. It has many mythical properties we talked about, including its ability to make a face, but none of those have been able to confirm that one. But we do know it is incredibly solid, so cars should not drive into it in typical fashion. But looking still here at J.R. Gregory and Kemp out front, lots of traffic ahead. This could be a major bottleneck for them, and this could be Gregory's ticket to the lead.
Yeah, Gregory has been really good at these elevation-changing tracks. We saw him at Mid-Ohio do a great job. Again, of course, at Mosport, do a great job. And here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, another good job. And these elevation changes tracks are very difficult. The blind corners show the drivers that have taken the time to put some practice in and really test their skills at trying to get fast here. And J.R. Gregory definitely putting in the time as he still continues to gain time on Stephen Kemp and a huge boggle of lap cars in front of them.
Definitely is, of course, and that big gaggle of cars could definitely impact how this race is going to play forwards. 6 minutes 24 seconds left on the clock, as this is a absolute wall of traffic here. This could be huge, but they catch them on the straight. This could be big for them, but they'll find themselves in the middle of this by the chicane.
Yeah, and that chicane is going to be one of the best spots to try and get these drivers, these lap drivers in front of them into, but you definitely don't want to get stuck behind a slower driver in the middle of the chicane. You can see Stephen Kemp showing the nose to the inside there as they work their way down into the chicane, but these drivers are going to have to be very careful. We saw with Glenn Dennis what can happen if a lap car in front of you just gets a little squirrely, so these guys are going to have to be very, very careful, especially over the blind parts of this track, to watch out for lap traffic possibly having incidents.
Very much the case, as the blind crest there being a huge problem with how things play forwards, but right now, no change in positioning between Gregory and Kemp. We're going to keep focused on this battle, because this could decide our race. Still 3 cars there in immediate distance of your leaders. Will any of them have an impact on how this race plays out? I am genuinely feeling nervous right now for these two, because there are massive championship implications. 11th place for Glenn Dennis. He's coming back up the running order pretty quickly, but he is not likely to catch anyone anytime soon. Maybe Craig Smith, maybe, but I doubt it, unless someone has an incident further up, which could happen.
Yeah, and right now only running a second a lap faster than Craig Smith, trying to work his way back up through the field, is going to struggle to catch him with only a few minutes left. 4 minutes and around 50 seconds left on the clock here, but as you can see, a huge run for the leader here. This could be a pass down into the chicane.
Could be, but it's not. He goes on the inside. He gets it done. J.R. Gregory takes the lead in the chicane in the braking zone there, secures that place and starts to jet away.
Just got on the throttle there, Rachel, right out of the chicane. Has pulled several car lengths, 10 to 15 car lengths already on Stephen Kemp. And that's just really good under braking for J.R. Gregory right there. That driver very good on the brakes. We saw early on in the race trying to work his way through a couple of cars after a not so good start, and has worked his way up just through out-braking some of these drivers. But lap traffic still going to play a factor here, Rachel. Stephen Kemp still has a chance as they work their way through these last couple of lap cars of this huge rat's nest, I guess you could call it, that they went through.
Oh, absolutely. A rat's nest is exactly what that is. But there's still plenty of time for things to change here, but Gregory has secured that lead from 4th on the grid, and this could be big for him. This could be huge points he desperately needs to really affect his championship. And with Glenn Dennis so far back now in 11th place, This impacts everything. He's second in points, and he's only 40 points back. This could be significant.
It really could be, Rachel. And another driver continuing to have issues. Our second place starter, Benjamin Loving, went off course on the final corner, ended up on pit road again, so was in the 13th spot. Second car, one lap down, ended up getting into some more trouble, now falling deeper into the field, not helping his points hopes and his championship hopes here in PCA competition.
Definitely is, and well, it is going to be tough to decide what happens, but looking at the gap Gregory's forming, I think Kemp's realized he's not going to catch him again, as he has definitely pulled this open and should be looking at an opportunity to really secure a win here at Road Atlanta, which would be massive for him. But it also means we'll see maybe Volker Krebs on the podium. That is, if Terrence Tong can't catch him, because he's coming for him now.
Yeah, Terrence Tong has, of course, had his fair share of issues today's race as a car backwards just in front of them as they work their way around safely down into the S's. But Terrence Tong, of course, always been chasing here in PCA competition and is currently trying to get another podium here. Of course, one already on the season for that driver, and trying to get another one here at, well, a very difficult track here in Georgia.
It is a difficult track. It looks like a simple track in theory. When you actually race around here, the elevation changes, the blind apexes, the big straights and the chicanes. Road Atlanta is a very complicated racetrack that simply looks simple. And it can really upset drivers in terms of how you have to run around this place, because it can be so dynamically different to so many other tracks. Of course, we know that you said before the race, Gregory in particular, he is a great driver on tracks with lots of elevation change, so this seems to have proven true.
Certainly, and Gregory is one of those drivers that has seemed to adapt to most of the courses we've ran in PCA competition. J.R. Gregory didn't start off with a phenomenal beginning to the season, but has shown his stripes here, working his way up and trying to get a win here tonight, but has gotten some very good finishes, hence why he's the second spot in the point standings for the challenge class. As we ride on board now with Tim Pruitt, and another driver that you want to talk about, Rachel, of somebody who has improved here through this season.
I'd agree with you. Definitely a driver that has significantly improved, and with 40 seconds on the clock, I think Gregory will make it back here to the start-finish line. So this will be our white flag lap.
And for sure, as he works his way down the hill right there, J.R. Gregory, I believe, coming to take the white flag, as we'll see if we catch a glimpse of the flagman there. Couldn't quite get him. And yep, the white flag is in the air. So J.R. Gregory going to have one more time around to win here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. See if he could possibly get a chance to move his way up in the points.
This could be huge for him in the points as he starts his final lap here. Stephen Kemp behind him has dropped off by 5 seconds in 2 laps. That is massive. Gregory is steaming away. 120.149 for him last lap by, and 121.954 for Kemp the lap before. He's dropped off the pace significantly, but with 28 seconds back to Volker Krebs, he can, I think it's more of a he's just left his foot off the gas, perhaps. Or he's slightly low on fuel. It would be tricky, but either way, Gregory now has one last time down the long straightaway here. We'll keep our eyes, though, to Tong, who is catching Volker Krebs. But can he get through? It might be possible. It could just be a new podium position for him.
Yeah, and this is going to be really close, Rachel. Terrence Tong has chased Volker Krebs down by several seconds, and if he has a chance at all on the final lap, it's going to be here down the long back straightaway, coming out of turn 7 into turn 8. As they work their way down that back straightaway, J.R. Gregory comes to win.
He does indeed. Big run by J.R. Gregory, and a fantastic win there as Kemp will come across the line too. Krebs is far enough ahead of Tong, I think, that it will not change position. Oh, so close to a podium, but so far away for Terrence Tong. But the Haribo monster of Volker Krebs will come under the Fox Factory Bridge. Oh no, he goes off! Oh! What just happened as Terrence Tong will come through for his first podium here? Oh my god, that just happened. Volker Krebs lost traction there coming out of the chicane under the Fox Bridge and just had to recover his car. He tracked out and lost the front end grip. It just went sideways. Oh my god, Ricky, that happened.
Yeah, it seemed maybe he was driving in his mirror just a little bit too much and hopped onto the throttle a little early. So he pulled his way around, still able to bring it home in fourth, though. Jason Sherwood was quite a ways back, so still fourth for Volker Krebs. But Terrence Tong with a battle back from the start, up 3 positions from where he started, and brought his way onto the last step of the podium.
Incredible run there by him, as even Glenn Dennis will come across the line here, coming home 9th in the end, so more points than he would have gotten earlier, but considerably less than he would have got from where he was running throughout this race. That is all our lead lap cars, so let's go to our post-race results. JR Gregory comes home with a win here for Zone 6 in your Challenge Class race presented by Z1 Dashboard. Zone number 10, Stephen Kemp comes home in 2nd, and Zone number 1's Terrence Tong puts out the podium finally in 3rd. Behind them, it's Volker Krebs and Jason Sherwood in 5th. 6th place is Avjit Barua with Robert Benson, Jack Stevenson, Glenn Dennis, and Craig Smith in 10th, with Tim Pruitt, Michael Burgoyne, David Purdy, Stefan Uradaka, and Adam Holland in 15th. Rest of those positions up on your screen now. We're going to be taking a short spin around the bush, but we'll be right back with your sport class race. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, race fans. We are back here with your sport class presented by Pirelli. Pirelli was founded in Milan in 1872 and is a global brand known for its cutting-edge technology, high-end production excellence, and passion for innovation that draws heavily on its Italian roots. Pirelli is among the world's major producers of tyres and is an OEM supplier to Porsche. Find out more about Pirelli at www.pirelli.com. Well, we're back here at Road Atlanta with your sport class race for tonight. The season is drawing closer and closer to its conclusion, and Taylor, we just had a honker of a race, and it was a wrong word there, an amazing race in the challenge class, and we're going to see probably the same again, if not better, here in sport.
We probably are going to see, of course, I don't think nothing tops last week, what we saw at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, but tonight we're going to be at Road Atlanta. This circuit provides a lot of great technical driving where drivers have to make sure they master this course to the best of their abilities if they want to have a podium or take home the checkered flag. And of course, looking at the point standings right now as well, Rachel, as we are looking at the club class, it is, of course, Jake Steinbrink, or actually not Jake Steinbrink, is none other than in the sport class. As we look at that, it's Oregon Gorlap and Will Waldron, your top two in the point standing, but Gorlap has quite a bit of a lead in the point standings right now, so if he's able to keep it smooth running for the next two races, he may have something to take home a championship.
It is indeed. Let's take a look at our grid here tonight for the sport class. John Martin of zone number 1 is on pole position with second place. Zone number 1 is David D. Palmer. Third is zone number 3 is Curtis Crummell. With fourth, zone number 1 is Ben Lung. Yes, I'm going through this quite quickly. Fifth place is zone number 3 is Donald Binkley. With zone number 3 is Daniel Florian in 6th. 7th place, zone number 1 is Will Waldron. With 8th, zone number 3 is Will Mungia. 9th place is zone number 1 is Dean Chapman. With 10th, zone number 1 is Bob Moore. 11th is David Snelling from zone number 1. Zone 5 is Ken Tubman in 12th. 13th is zone number 10 is Ryan McGee. 14th, zone number 4 is Keith Morgan. And 15th, zone number 5 is Robert Walton. Let's get ourselves ready for another 30 minutes of racing here in the sport class, as we expect this to be even more highly strung than your challenge race.
Yeah, the challenge race was very, very interesting. We saw a ton of stuff happen in that race, Rachel. A lot of drivers have some issues late in the going, and a lot of drivers come back from adversity that happened in the beginning of the race. So this track obviously producing some fantastic racing for PCA competition, and I expect nothing less from the sport class and the rest of our races tonight.
Certainly is, and for last race in challenge, of course, Avjit Barua picked up the Clean Driver Award there for 0 incident points whatsoever. So great work for you, Avjit Barua. See if anyone can do the same thing here in the sport class. Those cars get rolling now behind the iRacing pace car as we get ready for another 30 minutes of racing here at Road Atlanta. If you're still with us from challenge race earlier, hope you're enjoying your evening. If you're just joining us, welcome to the PCA or Porsche Club of America series here on Podium Esports. Here we go now as we start the race. Martin and Palmer leading the way down to turn 1, and it's very, very close here at the front. Big knot of cars, and it is incredibly, incredibly close. Diving into 1, the big braking zone there. Got to be careful not to run too wide, as you could just overshoot this corner so easily as we saw last race. Over the blind crest of 3, now dropping down into the S's. Everyone making it through here, no real problems. There's a near moment there between Mungia and Chapman. Nearly had him spinning around, but they made it through.
Certainly.
Go ahead, Taylor.
Certainly is, Rachel, as we watch them go down. The S is coming up over the crest here at turn number 5 right now as they make the way towards turn 6. Single file for right now, your field of cars. One thing I did notice in the field right now, Oregon Gorlap, as we have a car going around in turn 7. I could not catch that, as it might be Ben Luong in the 290.
It would be exactly what we saw there. Is you've got to be careful before that could really bite you. Oh, a car goes around a little bit further back here in turn 7. And that was James Bernard. Went off in 8. Comes back on the track. He couldn't really help it. And he collects the 54 machine of Yerxa. Oh, nobody else involved in that one though, but big moment for those guys. John Martin, P5. Oh wow, he missed the chicane. Your leader's dropped down now to 6th, maybe 7th place here. Missed the chicane entirely. And oh wow, this has changed the dynamic. Now we've got Palmer out front with Crummell second.
And Palmer ended up getting by Martin on the start there. So, of course, in the second spot now is we'll see what happened, and just overcooked it off into the chicane there, Rachel, as he goes for a ride there through the sand trap onto the grass, and now back down to the 8th position. John Martin not having the race he had hoped from the pole position, back to P9, the Upper Canada Region driver of Zone 1, and car number 8 not doing too hot here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. Going to have a lot of work to do to get back on the podium.
He definitely is, but we know he's fast, so we should see him work his way through some traffic, which is exactly what he's doing right back here in 9th, which is where he's currently scored across the line. But he's currently racing there with Munguia just ahead of him and Snelling in front of him, so we'll see him regain some places pretty quickly here. The pack is still pretty close together, but look at David Palmer. He's jetted off into the sunset. Carl, good in second, but with Florian close. Keep our eyes here on this battle around John Martin, as it is super tight. He's made it through, got the inside. Can he take this spot as well? Under braking, he will not. Munguia stays ahead.
David Snelling almost got into the back bumper of John Martin as they work their way underneath the Fox Factory Bridge, heading through turn 11 and turn 12 as they come across the start-finish line right now. But keep an eye on the next 3 cars up ahead of him. That's Dean Chapman, Donald Binkley, and Will Waldron battling for that 4th position as they work their way up the hill to turn number 1 before they make their way towards the S's. Single file, but it's still a great battle here as they climb over through turn 3 before climbing down the S's here. A good opportunity to make passes if you time it right. You don't want to go 2x2 too long through this section, but as you crest up over the hill here, one of the trickiest corners here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, you want to get the good run down the straight before getting into turn 6.
You very much do. You got to make sure you're in exactly the right positioning here as Munguia under attack from Martin. Makes it happen in 7. Gets through nice and cleanly. And he's got more cars ahead to look at here. Chapman, Binkley, Waldron on the straight, looking back from John Martin there towards the 907. Still a lot happening here, but it's definitely moving well.
And John Martin is a man on a mission right now after those issues on the opening lap here, and trying to continue. Just throws a block to the outside coming into the chicane and is going to maintain that spot there, but still a good 2i2 battle right there, Rachel.
Oh, no, it's not. Oh, Will Munguia, and I think that is the number 12 machine of Snelling, come to blows there out of the chicane after contact with Martin. Munguia lost his car in the same way that we saw last race at the last moment. Wobbled, got sideways, tapped Martin, then takes out Snelling. Unfortunate for those guys. Well, with that bombshell, let's get some bombshell interviews from, first up, JL Gregory. JL Gregory, congratulations on coming home first in the challenge class this time out. Currently second in points, but a win here is huge for you, especially with where Dennis finished.
It is huge. Holy cow. He came in, at 10th or something along those lines? 9th. Yeah, so that is going to actually put me into P1 for the season. It's going to be very close, though. So, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, tune in for the finale at Imola. It's going to be a good one.
You are the showman here, aren't you? Doing our job for us. Tell us how the race was today.
It was a little crazy. You probably had a better vantage point than I did, and I'm going to change my name to Plan A Racing. We've talked about it a few times now, and it just works. I was a little nervous at the start, so I backed out, let a couple people behind me, and just tried to focus and stay consistent and see what happened. And holy cow, I'm in another highlight reel with a car flying through the air over my head as I move up. And then I think Kemp had took some damage and had some aero problems on his car. And so that was that. Crazy stuff.
Very crazy indeed. Well, that aside, of course, anybody you'd like to give a shout out to or thank you?
Oh, absolutely. I've got to say that my son called this. I sort of scoffed at him, but he said this. I was going to take this one tonight. So thanks to Aiden for the good luck. Also, of course, Hagerty Motorsports and Z1 Dashboards. And man, definitely a special shout out to Glenn Dennis It was heartbreaking that crash happened right in front of me. We have both recently joined Matrix Motorsports for the team events, and you'll actually see us, I think, teaming up in a 911 RSR at Spa in July. So we're going to be working closely together in preparation for that. But you know how hard Glenn works and what good drives he puts in, and it's I feel bad that his race ended in that way, but he's still alive. We'll see what happens in Italy.
We certainly will. Well, thanks for joining us, J.R. Gregory, coming home today with the win. And next up, we have Stephen Kemp standing by with Ricky Springer.
And Stephen Kemp, the second place finisher. A tough fought race. Stephen, you brought it home on the second step of the podium. Take us through what that race was like, especially coming to the closing laps with a hard-charging J.R. Gregory behind you.
Well, it was beginning of the race. Glenn and I were teaming up. We're trying to get some time. That was going pretty well. I just saw Glenn got taken out, which was a shame. And then I took a bit of damage, and JR was moving up, and by the time he caught me, there was not a way to hold him, so I knew I was going to lose that spot to JR. But most of the last bit of race was, working through the lap traffic. Everybody was trying real hard, but at a track like that, it's difficult, to make a pass and to set up a pass for people. So spent most of the last of the race just trying to make sure we kept it clean and got through the lap traffic.
Certainly, and J.R. Gregory, of course, one of the drivers we said was a driver who was good at a track with elevation change. You've kind of stepped up on the tracks that have elevation changes as well. Take us through a little bit of what your preparation for a track like this, a very technical course like Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta.
Well, luckily, I've raced this one before. All of the last three tracks that I had never seen, that never been on. This one I had raced, so some experience with it, but it's tough because you go through turn 1 and turn 2, 3, and it's different almost every time. And so you just gotta learn to react. Turn 5 as well. I got 3 different exit strategies out of turn 5, depending on how it went. So you just need time with this track because it's unpredictable and it changes every time you go around it. So luckily, I just got a lot of time on this track and felt really comfortable with it.
Of course. Well, a great finish nevertheless. It's always good to be on the podium. I'm sure you'd rather the top step, but being on it nevertheless is good. Is there anybody you'd like to thank tonight?
Well, I'd like to thank Hagerty for sure, their sponsor, Z1 Dashboard. I also want to thank my Matrix teammates helping me prepare, Klaus for spotting me and keeping me sane to that and helping me out. For sure. Also, Porsche Exchange, who sponsors us in Central Zone Group.
Absolutely, and thank you for coming up here to join us. That was Stephen Kemp, our second place driver in the challenge class, is our very own Taylor Burris with our third place driver, Terrence Tall.
Here with Terrence, congratulations. I believe this is your first podium with the PCA. How do you feel about this?
It was a great night. It was quite a roller coaster, that's for sure.
What is one of the interesting factors about racing here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta that proves difficult compared to other circuits that you've raced here on the iRacing service?
I found the chicanes get really greasy after maybe 10 to 15 laps, and just trying to hold yourself in one piece, stay on track, that's quite difficult.
Well, as we look ahead to the next round at Imola, how confident do you feel about maybe going back-to-back or maybe even getting one step further up the podium when we go there next week?
Nothing. No confidence. Never tried it. So I have to get the practice going tonight.
All right. Well, before we let you go, Terrence, anyone you would like to say thank you to?
I would like to thank the sponsors, Hagerty Insurance, also Z1 Dashboard. Last but not least, I would like to thank my beautiful wife for her good luck kiss right before the start of the race.
Yeah, you gotta make sure to give a shout out to the wife on that. That, of course, is Terrence Tong coming home in his first career podium in PCA competition. As we now go back to the on-track action here for the club class.
We do indeed great interviews there from those guys as the sport class doing a phenomenal job tonight. I think Ricky's a little bit... Ricky. Taylor. Maybe I am too. Either way, David DeBarmer are leading the way tonight in that 32 car. Curtis Crummell behind him and Daniel Florian behind him. 2 seconds from Palmer to Crummell. Crummell to Florian is 6 seconds. And it's another 3 back to Chapman in fourth with only 10th of a second or so. Actually, no, he's off the track. Will Waldron is actually off there. He has had an incident. Do we know what it was, guys?
I believe he had an incident coming.
Final corner. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it looked like to be. So a tough break for Will Waldron, who is second in the point standings right now, Rachel. So this is going to be very detrimental for him right now. Of course, Oregon Girl Lab is not in today's race. So that will kind of keep the gap somewhat similar. But for someone right now, such as none other than David Palmer, who could possibly take home another victory, in fact, back-to-back, this could boost him up inside the top 4 in points and have him in somewhat of a contention for the championship fight.
Yeah, it really could, and that's going to be absolutely huge for these guys, but we'll have to see how it plays out. Waldron, it seemed locked up in the last corner, oversteered, got loose and overcorrected it, snapped back and put him into the outside wall there, as we are live once again on board with Binkley right now in 5th place. Donald Blinkley coming out of the final corner. He'll inherit that 5th, but he's currently 6th, but he is now officially 5th. Dean Chapman looking back there from him towards Binkley. Chapman in 4th place, coming through turn 1 here. This is one of our closing battles we're seeing, Ricky. What do you think the chances are like?
Yeah, I believe these two drivers are going to come together and get very close here in the next few laps. Binkley running just a little bit quicker on the lap time chart, catching up to the back of that Chapman machine as they work their way down through the bottom half of the S's and up to turn 5. And these two drivers have battled a little bit in PCA competition before, but this is a track where these battles can get really aggressive, and you're going to have to make some tough moves with your competitors to try and get some positions here.
Definitely how things play out in these races as well. We're approaching that halfway point in tonight's sport class race. So let's have a look at our midway race report, brought to us by Pirelli. Pirelli was founded in Milan in 1872, and it's a global brand known for its cutting-edge technology, high-end production excellence, and passion for innovation that draws heavily on its Italian roots. Pirelli is among the world's major producers of tyres and is an OEM supplier to Porsche. Find out more about Pirelli at www.pirelli.com. Out front is going to be David D. Palmer leading the way in tonight's race. The 72 car from the Upper Canada region, zone number 1, started second on the grid, currently leading this thing. Third on the grid to now second is Curtis Crummell of the Carolinas region, zone number 3. Putting that car to good work, moving forward steadily. Behind them, it is Daniel Florian of the Carolinas region also, zone number 3, the 911. Has been doing some great laps, a 1:20.8 last time by for him. Dean Chapman is in 4th, the Northern New Jersey region of zone number 1. The 605 car is up from 9th place to 4th, so he's up 5 places. Exactly where he started. Actually, no, moving up, G1. He just passed him. John Martin is now in 5th. The Upper Canada region driver who started this race in the lead is clawing it back. He's looking at a top 5 after that. This is huge. Number 6 is Donald Binkley, the Music State region, zone number 3. In the O2 car there, Binkley is down 1 from where he started. 7th is Ken Tubman, the Lone Star region driver, a Texan here. Zone number 5, the 27 car, is currently up 5 places from where he started. And in 8th place is Ryan McGee of the Nordstern region, zone number 10. The 944 car is also up 5 places from where he started.
Yeah, and the 9th place driver was Carl Davis, the first Seattle region of zone 2. The 217 driver started 19th, was in the 9th spot, just past Ryan to put himself into the 8th spot. 10th place going to be Robert Walton from the Maverick region of zone 5. Car number 4 started in the 15th spot, up 5 places now on the track, but in a heated battle for that 10th position. 11th spot going to be Keith Morgan from the Central Indiana region of zone 4. The 700 machine started in the 14th spot, up to the 11th, a 3-position gain for him. He's looking to gain a little bit more, but quite a little ways to go until he gets inside the top 10. 12th spot going to be Rusty Pruden from the Kentucky region of zone 13. The 96 machine looking very sporty out there tonight with the chrome paint scheme, looking to move his way up through the field. Started in 15th up to 10th. Started in 22nd up to 12th. 13th spot, Miguel Wong from the Upper Canada region of Zone 1. The 290 machine currently scored in the P13 position. Started in 4th, has fallen back quite a bit, but a little bit of damage on the right front, trying to work his way back up into the field. 14th spot, going to be Bob Moore. He's in a heated battle for that 14th spot with the driver behind him, the 772 machine from the Northeast region of Zone 1. Started in the 10th spot, now in 14th. I apologize, 15th. Will is now in the 14th position after a pass right there. The Peach State region driver of Zone 3, the 907 machine, making some moves out on track. 16th spot is going to be Will Waldron. Had a couple of issues at the beginning of the race. Started in 7th, now scored in 16th, about to be 15th here. Hudson Champlain region driver Zone 1 and the number 1 machine, Taylor.
As we look in the 17th position, it's Maverick Region's very own Gregory Sampson. He is the first car one lap down right now as he works his way by himself. Has had a tough break, but has gained a couple of spots after starting in 23rd. In the 18th spot is Peter Yerksa from the Down East region. He's in heavy traffic right now, trying to work his way back up through the field after starting in 17th. He sits in the 18th position. 19th goes to James Bernard, another car one lap down from the Alaska region, Zone 11. Having a quiet night right now, but has lost a couple of spots after gained a couple of spots after starting in 20th position. 20th position goes to David Snelling, one of the cars who's had some issues out on the track. He currently sits on pit road. Carl Borcheri has been disqualified for other matters. Ken Nielsen sits in 22nd, and Val Asino, it rounds out your 23-car field.
Well, a fantastic race so far. That was your midway race break, brought to us, of course, by Pirelli here in your sport class. Back to the on-track action as we see it. Where's Palmer? He's 3.5 seconds ahead of Krummel, who's got himself 10 seconds on Florian. As we're looking right now at a replay here of what happened with Palmer, your leader, and what occurred for him just a moment ago. Oh, he's not leading. Well, that's a surprise, because he didn't cross the line for me on my timing of scoring, but wow, that's changed everything. That puts Krummel, who's also just binned it. No,
Seems like nobody wants to lead.
Nobody wants to lead. Let's put a replay for this one, please, because this is impressive. Krummel says, "Hi, corner. I don't feel like you today."
Oh, hits right in the grass.
Yeah, and Krummel had a lot of damage as well coming out of turn 7. Just before that, smacked the inside wall, so a ton of damage going off into the chicane at the bottom of the hill. In big trouble for both of our leaders is now Daniel Florian is the new leader in the 911 machine, and in a spot that I don't think he believed he would be in, but that puts John Martin in a position to definitely get a podium here and possibly battle for the lead here.
Yeah, he could still win this somehow. Yeah, Martin could still win this thing. In fact, it looks like he's going to with how he's closing here. Not one, but two humongous derps just happened, or moments of shall we say, confusion. And right now, this puts Daniel Florian in the hot seat, the very, very hot seat, because there is an angry John Martin trying to recover his pole position by trying to take the lead here as he looks to the inside, coming down to the chicane. He goes for the inside line, and he's not going to be given it on a platter. Florian holds him off now, realizing he's the new race leader. As a big, big run by John Martin takes him up the inside here for the final corner. What will this do? Not going to be a pass. Florian defends. Oh, boys, this just got spicy.
Very spicy indeed right now as we watch on the battle between Florian and John Martin as they work their way up the hill through turns 1 and 2 as they climb, making their way towards the S's. You're on board with John Martin. He's taking a peek as they head down through the S's. Can't seem to find the opening he needs to make the pass, but as they approach turn number 5, watch right here, Rachel, as he may try to make a pass heading into turn 6.
He may indeed, and this is really close, but we're seeing Florian really put up a really strong defense in this one. In terms of how this race will play out for him. 8 minutes left for the clock. A lot of time for Florian to defend.
Certainly, and those two drivers definitely in a heated battle. And Florian, I think, wants that top spot just a little bit more than John Martin. Of course, starting on the pole, wants that position back, but the driver of the 911 machine going to try and protect as hard as he can as they work their way down the back straightaway to another good passing zone, Rachel.
They are, and we'll see what can happen from this. Will he have another opportunity in the chicane? Will he go for it? He wants that clean air as he goes hard to the inside here. Big braking, but round the outside wide goes Florian. And once again defends very well. But Chapman's catching up here as Martin's obviously very much faster here, but he just can't find a way through. And this is bringing Chapman right into this fight. And Binkley. Four-way fight for the win, question mark?
Could be indeed, Rachel, as they head into turn one right now. John Martin is trying to find the opening. He knows he is faster than Daniel Florian, and if he's able to get around him, he could possibly pull away to where we could not have a four-car battle, but Florian is putting the car in the right places in order for these drivers to be able to get away from them and hold on to this position. But here comes Dean Chapman with a big head of steam as they come out of turn number 5.
They are, and he's just still not finding that opening yet. Chapman is coming on hard, but John Martin just can't find a door to Daniel Florian's positioning. Florian has got this thing stretched out wide. He's driving that car sideways, metaphorically, as he's basically just taking it the whole way through this racetrack, but keeping the speed going. But is it going to be enough speed when Chapman arrives?
Well, with the way that he is protecting right now, doing a great job at protecting the passing line from John Martin, protecting that outside through the chicane so he can get a good entry to the exit portion of that chicane there. But he's going to have to be careful here. If him and John Martin continue to battle as heavily as they are, those two drivers of Dean Chapman and Donald Binkley are going to catch up to the rear end of them. And that could be a four-car battle, and that could even put somebody like Daniel Florian, our leader, back even further.
Yeah, it really could. And that would be a big, big difference to how this plays out. But, oh, it's getting a little bit through. I think Martin just made it through there in turn 1. He did. Makes the move work up the inside through turn 1. Gets it secured after a little bit wide goes Daniel Florian. Move Martin back up to the lead.
How about that right now? John Martin back in front of the field as they work their way out of turn number 5. Dean Chapman trying to close the gap in that third position to the top 2 as they head down into turn 6. Florian trying to find the opening he needs to get right back to the back bumper of John Martin. Now, I know we don't normally see this in sports car racing, but could we see a little bit of rubbing here between our top 4 as they head down the long back straightaway towards turn 10 and make it the opportunity to make it a little bit spicy here in the closing minutes?
No, we'll have to find out what will occur in these last moments. 5 minutes on the clock. Now, the trick here is, can John Martin extend this lead here and keep away Dean Chapman and Donald Binkley, who are super close now and catching this group? We will definitely have at least a fight for our podium all the way to the end here.
Yeah, and those 3 drivers just behind John Martin, who has cycling of the timing and scoring, comes back around, will be your new leader. That's going to be a great battle for that second step on the podium and the third step on the podium, because Dean Chapman now catching Florian as they go up to the front half of the course and down through turn 3 to the S's. These drivers going to have to be up on the wheel, and we'll have to see if Florian can protect just as good for that second spot as he did with protecting John Martin from trying to get the lead.
John Martin is looking like he's extending now, which is what he needed to do here, as Binkley brings up the rear of this train for your race or podium finishing positions. He's currently the man on the outside here, Taylor, so he's the one that we have to watch, because Chapman and Florian, well, those 3 are together now, so this could definitely become a real fist fight.
It certainly is looking like to be that as they work their way down the back straightaway. Here comes your top 4 as they went past the Motel Bridge, heading underneath towards turn 10A, 10B. This is a good opportunity if we're able to see them get a little bit closer through here, as we see Dean Chapman get a good run through turn 10. He's going to catch up to Daniel Florian, gets a great run off corner exit, takes a peek to the outside as we see Florian try to protect the bottom of the racetrack as they come through the final corner here down the front straightaway. This could be very interesting between our top, second, and third position, but John Martin has pulled out to almost a 2-second lead, make it 1.8, but he's approaching lap traffic.
Yes, he is, as right now, that lap traffic will have a factor, but I don't think with Martin being on his own here, Ricky, it's going to prove too difficult, especially coming up towards 7, 8, and 9. He's in a great position to pass as he goes to the inside here. Cleanly through there, lap traffic gets him away as that gap will maintain.
Yeah, and the lap traffic, we saw it in the challenge class race. The lap traffic can really shake up a race, Rachel. John Martin trying to be as safe as possible to work his way around, but a little bit of an edgy move through turn 5 that time as the lap traffic gets out of the way for the rest of the top 4. Donald Binkley now on the back bumper of Dean Chapman, trying to battle him down into the chicane.
Definitely trying to battle him, but will it change? We don't know. It's going to be close, though, to see what they can do. They've been separated out by that lap car as we come down now towards that chicane. 2 minutes 50 on the clock, and they've spread out here, which I think will have a big impact on how this plays out for us. Palmer, he's trying to recover back now. He is currently in 7th place. Unfortunate for him here, but well, this is how the cookie crumbles sometimes ahead of them. Tubman and Davis are still running around in order. Behind Palmer is McGee, Watson, Morgan, Lung, and Crummell all the way back there. So he's running again. Possible technical, we think, for him, but it's hard to say. A lot of very strange antics tonight on the track as this car has definitely humbled, I think, these guys as we run. But nearly 2 seconds gap from Martin to Florian here, Taylor. It's strong with 2 minutes left.
It certainly is a strong fight for that second spot between Florian and Chapman. I do got to point out a good, smart move that Chapman just pulled on the last lap with Donald Binkley, going down that long back straightaway, utilizing a lap car as a pick to prevent Donald Binkley from getting around him before they got to turn 10. Smart move by Dean Chapman to utilize the lap traffic and his surroundings to battle out and defend his position. Now he can set his sights once again solely on his second place competitor, which is Daniel Florian, about 1.3 seconds up the road as we keep an eye on him. But here is a good battle for the 8th spot between Ryan McGee and Robert Walton as they come to turn 6 and 7.
They are as it moves, but the gaps are widening, which have taken away our real opportunity for a fight here. Florian, Chapman, Binkley all spreading in these last moments here. 1 minute 18 on the clock as we cross the line. So this is going to be really hard to tell here. Will we get another lap across the line here? This could be white flag. This could be the end. I can't tell. We crossed the line with almost an actual lap to go. What will happen?
Yeah, we'll have to see exactly what the flagman is going to decide to do with the timing. But it seems like John Martin has this race locked down if he could just stay clean for 1 to maybe even 2 more laps.
That is true. We'll need to see what will occur for the last lap or last 2 laps of the race. White flag this time. It's going to be our thing, so we will make it one more time around here. 1 more lap for these guys to do something with. But the gaps for Florian, Chapman, and Binkley too big for any 1 lap to have an impact on, unless they have a major problem. McGee's just got off the track, which moves Walton up a position here. Our big movers today, Carol Davis from 19th to 6th. Walton, 15th to 7th. And we have Morgan, 14th to 9th now. And Rusty Pruden, 22nd. To 14th or 13th eventually it will be actually here, but some big movement by those guys, all lead lap cars. As Florian has that lap in the bag, so the time has hit 0. This is our last lap, guys, around the track.
How about the timing on that one right there, Rachel? He comes across the line with 1 second left. If it would have hit 0 just before then, it would have been that final lap for our race leader, and checker flags would have flown. But he's got to make it 1 more time around, and he does have a decent lead right now of 2 seconds as they work their way through the S's for the final time.
He does, and through the S's he comes. 1 last time around here for John Martin. Your Upper Canada region driver of Zone 1 is looking strong. What a comeback story for John Martin we have seen today. He was leading. He was taken out. And he's back. That just doesn't happen in a series as strong as PCA. Incredible to see him come back to this. It was lap 1 as well, which is huge, but an incredible run here by John Martin last time through the chicane. Lap traffic won't be close enough to have an impact. Just hold it together for 2 more corners and you have the story of the night so far. Although it seems every week these guys in Challenge, Sport, Club and Pro find a way to make us lose our minds. Across the line will come John Martin for the win here. And that comeback was real. Daniel Florian in second place, Dean Chapman in third, fourth place Donald Binkley, Ken Tubman coming out the final corner now. With Carol Davis coming up to the Fox Factory Bridge. And Walton just behind him there with Morgan as well. Guys, busy race we're seeing here in our sport class.
Certainly, and that battle for the final step on the podium was not over as Dean Chapman and Donald Binkley drove side by side into the final chicane and tried to make that pass work. Binkley couldn't quite get around him on the outside, fell back into the fourth place position. But a very great set of battles we saw here in the sport class tonight.
Totally amazing as we've seen this one here. An incredible race. Well, with that, let's go to our post-race results, as those last couple of drivers not looking to be competitive for a position change, maybe. Mungia comes across Waldron and Pruden, our last two through the chicane. Zone number 1's John Martin comes home with a win today for your sport class, sponsored by Pirelli. Zone number 3, Daniel Florian in second, with zone number 1's Dean Chapman in third. Behind them, it is Donald Binkley and Ken Tubman rounding out your top 5, with Carol Davis, Robert Walton, Keith Morgan, Ben Lung and Curtis Crummell in 10th. David D. Palmer in 11th place with Will Mungia, Will Waldron, Rusty Pruden, and 15th place, Gregory Sampson. Rest of those results on your screen. Once again, you know what time it is. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with the club class.
Hagerty is the world's largest provider of specialty insurance for enthusiast vehicles and supports keeping car culture alive through youth programs, the Historic Vehicle Association, the RPM Foundation, and more. Hagerty is home to key programs such as the Hagerty Drivers Club, Hagerty Drive Share, Hagerty Valuation Tools, the Hagerty Drivers Club magazine, and much, much more. For more information, visit their website at hagerty.com. PCA Sim Racing is proud to have Hagerty Motorsports as its 2021 title sponsor.
Welcome back to your third of 4 races here tonight for PCA, the Porsche Club of America, here on iRacing. And we are now bringing you the club class brought to us by Michelin. Michelin is a presenting partner of the club class in 2021, as well as the official tyre of IMSA. They also manufacture and sell tyres for every type of vehicle, including aeroplanes, automobiles, bicycles, earth movers, farm equipment, heavy-duty trucks, and motorcycles. Michelin also offers a full range of innovative services and solutions that help make mobility safer, more efficient, and more environmentally friendly. Find out more about Michelin at www.michelinman.com. Well, we are getting ourselves underway here for race 3, and Taylor, Ricky, it's been busy so far. We've had some crazy action in the first 2 races.
Absolutely. The first 2 races have been nothing less than eventful, to say the least. The drivers have been definitely up on the wheel. A lot of good battles and a lot of accidents that we've seen with these drivers having some issues in the braking zones. Most importantly, down to the chicane at the back half of the course, the drivers have been having some trouble there all evening long. Of course, a different car that we're taking to the track, the Porsche 911 Cup car for the final 2 club and pro class here tonight. These drivers going to have to get a little used to this car, Rachel, as after the new build came out on iRacing today. It's going to handle a little different for these drivers than how it's been for the whole entire PCA season so far.
It definitely is going to change things here as, well, we get ourselves ready for this next round, and I know I am excited to see what can happen from this race. We're getting ourselves set up now. Let's go to your starting grid for tonight's club class race, brought to us by Michelin. First on the grid is zone number 3's Travis Brody, with zone number 5 Jean-Paul Lano in second place. Zone number 3 Sean Murphy in third, with fourth. Zone number 6 is Dean Chen. Zone number 2 is Robert Rose in fifth, with sixth place is zone 8's Jonathan Waltman. Seventh is zone number 1's Robert Lacroix, with eighth place zone number 1's Julien Velez. Ryan Kornowski is in ninth in zone 9. 10th is zone number 5's Klaus Nielsen. 11th is zone number 2's Dave Craig, with James Hayosh in fourth. For zone 4, in 12th place. 13th place is number 1's George Makadakis. Greek Lightning. Bruce Robinson of zone 4 in 14th, with zone number 2's Daniel Rubel in 15th. Rest of those starting positions on your screens. Wow. Third race, boys. What's it going to be? Give us predictions. What drama will we see in this one?
Well, looking right quick at the point standings, Jean-Paul Lano and Robert Rose are your top 2 in the point standings right now, and both of them are not even, as Jean-Paul Lano is in second, Robert Rose is in fifth, so 2 of our points leaders are inside the top 5. Jean-Paul Lano, though, one thing to point out with him, he hasn't won a single race so far this season, so keep an eye on him. He may have what it takes to finally break through with a victory here that could help propel him to take home a championship. But for Robert Rose, keep an eye on him. He's always been one of the consistent drivers of the season so far, and that's why he's leading the point standings.
Definitely is. Well, here we go. Under the bridge will come start race number 3 here, front row. Lano and Brody. Green flag flies. And Brody makes a big jump here to start this one. It's only going to be 2 wide back with Chen and Murphy. Into turn 1 they come.
Travis Brody had a great start there. Several car links shooting out to the front of the field, and that's really what you want as you come to these first couple of corners, turn 3 especially, is to have a huge gap, not worry about anybody behind you trying to make a path. As Jonathan Waltman in the middle of the field right now, working his way down through the S's, and you could just see how packed full his mirror is and the cars in front of him as well. A lot of cars trying to file into a tight space, Rachel.
They really are at the moment, as it'll come through 7 into 8 here as the field spreads itself out now, having completing the first half of our first lap. Very busy field with a lot of cars trying to fit through. One of our bigger fields tonight. 35 cars in this one as Brody leads the pack down straight away here towards that chicane. He's looked quick so far. His qualifying was the only car in the 121s versus the 122s, so we know he's got pace, Ricky, but can he hold on to it?
Yeah, and we'll just have to see what kind of pace he has. 1:21.956, the official qualifying time for Travis Brody at the front of the field. And, you know, we'll have to see if that lap time can consistently be put down on his part. But Jean-Paul Leno in the second spot, not too far off of him in qualifying times, about a half a second. And after that first lap, as we come around, Travis Brody 0.3 of a second faster on the first lap. So trying to extend that lead just a little bit more. Is he using up his stuff a little bit too much is the question we'll have to see as we get later on into this 30-minute sprint race.
We will for sure now, coming through 7 and 8. For your leader, Brody, followed closely by Jean-Paul Leno. Those two seeming to be two of our faster cars, but the rest of the field behind them here, Taylor, haven't really docked off. They're still with them. The gaps are just slightly wider as everyone is pushing hard.
It certainly is, Rachel. Your top 7 is separated by about 3 seconds through the entire field right now. Go a little further back, you got another pack of cars as well with Ryan Krasinski, Dave Craig, James Hayosh, Daniel Rubel. So it's little clusters of packs of cars battling for position here as we keep an eye on Travis Brody, who's looking to try to see if he can get his first chance at a win this season. Looking at him right now, Brody is currently quite a ways back in the point standings, 25th in points for the Palmetto Region's driver, so he's actually on a good opportunity here to gain some valuable points, especially since he's missed 2 races so far this season.
He really has, and right now it's going to be a big impact on how this plays out for us. Club classes points at the moment, Robert Rose leads the way there. He's currently running in 5th place on the track. Jean-Paul Leno is in 2nd in the points. He is in 2nd in the race. This could be big for him. And where's Travis Brody? Oh, I don't know.
25th.
25th. Yeah. So, kind of a way back. His positioning here actually helps the likes of Leno being out front because it's not Rose, it's not Velez. Velez, of course, is running way back in last place after a big incident earlier on. That's going to be a huge impact to him. And Schmitz, who's currently in 4th, and Murphy's in 4th, and Schmitz is, again, much further back. So this is massive, really, for Leno. He really helped secure this lead, Taylor.
He certainly has, Rachel, as we're on board with Sean Murphy right now, but Jean-Paul Leno just needs to keep focused and stay ahead of Robert Rose in the point stand. Consistency is key. Think of last season in the pro class. Lee Peterson didn't even win a single race, but still won the championship. He won it by placing inside the top 5 just about every race, and better than any other his competitors who are out there racing. That is what the key is to winning championships, is consistency. Yes, winning races can help, but consistency is king.
Never has a truer statement been made for race car drivers. Is Ricky, things are starting to get a little bit hectic on track right now.
Yeah, a couple of drivers trying to battle their way up through the field. Klaus Nilsson with a black flag for orange zone incident at the beginning of the race. We talked about that at the beginning of the challenge class, Rachel. These drivers just having to be careful and take it easy the first couple of corners and the first couple of laps of the race. And it's becoming very difficult for these drivers to really keep their cars woed down enough and be safe these first couple of laps. But rightfully so, you start deep in the field, you want to move your way up. But a good battle for the 9th spot right now as they work their way down the backstretch and through the small little curve they call turn 8. Yes, that is a turn on the track. So these drivers trying to work their way through this.
American racetracks do tend to get some interesting ideas at what they call turns. I mean, technically the 2 right-handers that make up your 1st and 3rd corners at Road America, yeah, you heard me right, 1st and 3rd. Because 2nd is the slight degree change of direction on that straight. Go figure. All right, now, still keeping your eyes here on the lead here as Chen is making a move on Leno, pulling himself up to 2nd place here. A big move for the 187 machine. He pulls himself into a great position, but this has given Brody a gap he could really use here.
Certainly so, Rachel, as he has pulled out to about a 1.4 second lead over Dean Chen as they come out of turn 5, working their way down the back this straightaway here, heading into turn number 6. Lap traffic is in front of our race leader. That is none other, I believe, as I'm waiting to see what's on timing and scoring right now. One of the lap cars that's in front of our race leader. Could not catch the name of that driver. As we watch on board, that is actually going to be Klaus Nielsen, who's about to go another lap down here, or lap down for the first time here tonight in that 0-4. But Travis Brody flashing the headlights to let him know, hey, I need to get by you and continue on my way here. As they approach turn 10, he will try to close the gap even more so. There is the rest of your top 5 as they come down into turn 10. Jonathan Waltman, who will have to point out, currently one of the winningest drivers so far this season with 3 wins to his name. But due to the fact of some poor finishes and a no-show last round at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, that puts him 7th in the point standings.
And that's a big drop. It's clearly not the mentality you need to win a championship. You've got to have that consistency you mentioned earlier, of course. That has a big impact on that. Well, right now, we are about 8 minutes into this race, 22 remaining on the clock. Let's get a chance to chat to some of our runners today. And first up, from your sport class, the winner, John Martin. Well, John, this is an interview I've been looking forward to so far today. Tell me about your race.
It was a bit of a mess, to be honest. I made it far too hard for myself after a good quali lap. But it was, it was fun. By the end of the week, the eve of the race, I felt pretty good on the track. Had a good set of practices, and then it was just it's a really hard start, with the green flag dropping sort of halfway down that hill. And then everybody was right on my bumper on that first straight, and I just completely was locked into the rearview mirror and blew straight through that braking zone. But it was a really, really fun race. I'm thrilled.
Just how does it feel to go so far back after a big mistake and then somehow still win?
Well, very good. I don't know. I had good pace, and it was really hot out there. And I think I had a slightly safer setup than some of the drivers out there. And so there were places where I just felt really good pushing. And I think the other thing is, I had quite sharp elbows today because, we're getting towards the end of the season and I'm hungry for points. And, all of the other drivers, I had a great battle with Daniel Florian, and it was just everybody that I came through was really good. They fought to keep their spot, but then when I pulled alongside them, they would sort of have a quick battle and then let me pass if I won the corner. So it's credit to all the other drivers. I think as the season progresses, we all know each other, and we're giving each other a bit more space these days.
Something we definitely like to see. Anybody you'd like to give a shout out to or thank today's race?
Yeah. This week I'll thank Adam Holland, one of our Canadian drivers, who spent a bunch of time with me trying to get me right on turn 7, the important turn 7 onto the straight. I used the patented Holland technique, and I think it served me well today. So thank you to Adam.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for joining us, John Martin, winning in the sport class.
Thank you.
Well, next up, we have Daniel Florian standing by with Ricky Springer.
Hello, how's it going?
Good, Daniel. A great job by you tonight. Not only the second step on the podium, but the clean driver of the race. Has to feel good to go through a race with no incidents and keep that car in one piece.
Yeah, it was definitely a tricky track. The goal for this race was really just keeping it clean, like you said. I knew that the guys up front were, running a very aggressive setup, so I was just, I'm crossing my fingers that they would spin out, and, it's unlucky for them, but, you got to take advantage there. So I was just trying to remain very consistent, and it paid off in the end.
Yeah, and a great job. A lot of interesting talking points throughout that whole sport class race. Of course, John Martin, a fierce battle you two had coming to the closing minutes there. You were doing a great job at holding him off. Kind of take us through what your game plan was to try and hold him off for possibly the end of the race. Fortunately, we weren't able to do it, but we're doing a great job at holding him off while you could.
Yeah, definitely, John. We were just talking. I try to just keep on the right side on that straight, knowing that I would have the inside corner on the second turn there. He definitely had great pace, and I think my car just had a little bit more pace on that straight, and I knew I just had to just keep in my lane. But towards the end, it was getting kind of slippery out there, and my lap times were getting into the 21s. I was like, just playing it safe, so I just let him by and still get a podium. So instead of taking us both out and struggling with grip, I just chose the wise move to let him by.
And a smart veteran move by you. Nevertheless, the points obviously going to help you a little bit, put you further up in the point standings up for a second place finish here. Is there anybody you'd like to thank?
Special thanks to you guys. I mean, you guys make this very exciting. I know last week I was listening in, and I think it was Rachel with all that extra excitement. It just makes it a little bit more special, especially when family's watching. So special thanks to you guys.
Absolutely, and that was Daniel Florian, who was not only the second place finisher here tonight in the sport class, but the clean driver. And now we have our very own Taylor Burris down with our third place finisher, Dean Chapman.
Here with Dean Chapman. Dean, a great performance with you coming home in third position here tonight at Michelin Raceway at Road Atlanta. You had a great fight with Daniel Florian in the end. Did you feel like if you had a couple of more minutes, you could have made it work and made a pass for second?
Well, that's a very good question. As I was running around there, I was in the back of my mind a little nervous about what might happen if, there's an off track or something. I was trying to keep a clean race. I put some distance between me and Donald, but once I caught up with the guys, John and Daniel, they were duking it out. So I was just trying to keep back from them, just try to keep a little cleaner race.
What do you think it makes it so interesting running the roof track cars at this track compared to the other Porsches that we normally see competing here in the PCA?
This little rough car is it's kind of a mix between an RSR and a 911 a Porsche, and it's got like all the benefits, and the only problem is if you damage the car, it's horrible. It's got great suspension, you can go over bumps, it's fast, it's a fun car to drive.
Before we let you go, Dean, anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I'd like to thank you guys as usual, Podium, and our sponsors. I'd especially like to thank Doug Atkinson for putting behind the scenes all this stuff on, and of course anybody in England, my mom, dad, and sister who probably watch this, and of course my wife who supports me, and the kids who wonder what I'm doing in the basement all the time.
Got to make sure you show support to the family as they help you out with this. So congratulations on your podium finish, Dean. We'll see you at the next round at Imola.
That was our post-race interviews for the sport class as we rejoin the action on track here at the Road Atlanta circuit. Ricky, before we go to what's definitely coming next, what's happened on track while we've been talking to them?
Yeah, quite a few things have developed on track. Most recently, Jean-Paul Leno has gone off just a tad in turn 5, has lost a couple positions, is now in a battle with, I believe, maybe the driver behind him can't quite get a number off of that machine. I'm going to take a second here. Robert Rose, so one of the drivers that he is in the points battle with as they work their way down the back straightaway. A little mess up there by Jean-Paul Leno, and now Robert Rose to the back bumper. And that's going to be a great battle that we're going to have to keep a look on. Points is coming down to the wire here, especially in the club class. A lot of drivers still in contention for a championship. Only one round left after this evening's race, so these drivers are going to have to put their best foot forward here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta to give themselves as many points buffer between you and the driver behind you for next week's race at Imola.
We are indeed. Well, just move swiftly onwards as we cross the halfway point in tonight's club class race. It's time to bring you the midway race report, brought to you by Michelin. Michelin's a presenting partner of the club class in 2021, as well as the official tyre of IMSA. They also manufacture and sell tyres for every type of vehicle, including aeroplanes, automobiles, bicycles, earth movers, farm equipment, heavy-duty trucks, and motorcycles. Michelin also offers a full range of innovative services and solutions that help make mobility safer, more efficient, and more environmentally friendly. Find out more about Michelin at www.michelinman.com. With that in mind, the track gets very misty and dark out there. Let's take a look at our leader, the 020 of Travis Brody, the Palmetto region zone number 3 driver, putting in the work tonight and getting this thing done. P2 right now is going to be Dean Chen, the Canada West region driver, that 186 car, 87 car. We have zone number 6 here. He's up 2 places from 4th. Third is Jonathan Waltman, a Santa Barbara region California driver there in the 7 machine. Zone number 8. He is up 3 places from 6th. P4's Jean-Paul Lenoir, who's also the Mardi Gras region driver of Zone 5, is down 2 places from 2nd. Robert Rose is where he started, the Shenandoah region driver of Zone 2, the 443. Started 5th, is running 5th. 6th place is Robert Lacroix of the Rensport region of Zone number 1. The 64 car, 1 place from 7th. The number 7 is Sean Murphy, the Palmetto region driver, zone number 3. The 20 car is down 4 from starting 3rd. Daniel Craig is in 8th place, the Keystone region driver of the 996 of zone 2. He is up 3 from P11 on the grid. Behind them is Daniel Rubel, the number 2 car of the Ransom-Dota region of zone number 2. He's up 6th place from 15th. Ryan Kowanowski is in the 10th place from 9th on the grid, down 1. And the Zone 9 driver from the Rocky Mountain region just goes off track again whilst we're watching him. He'll rejoin after dropping another position there to 11th. So 10th place was going to have been Michael McKinney, the Cimarron region driver of Zone number 5 in that 527 machine. He is up now 8 places. 12th for you, Ricky.
And that's going to be Bruce Robinson that you just brought up. Going off the track a little bit, the 386 machine, the Northern Ohio region driver of Zone 4, started in the 14th spot, up 2 positions. 13th spot going to be Jake Stensenbrook from the Ohio Valley region of Zone 4. The 46 machine started in the 24th spot, worked his way up through the field to P13 now on track. 14th position going to be Jeremy from the North Country region of Zone 1. The 25 machine looking to get into the battle for 12th, is running some quick lap times to catch up to those drivers in front. The 15th spot, driver who started in 27th, now in 15th, Paul Nito from the Upper Canada region of Zone 1. The 104 machine on the move since the beginning of the race. 16th spot going to be Dave Stewart from the Upper Canada region of Zone 1, and the 914 machine started 32nd on the grid, very deep in the field, has kept a clean car, looks to be so far, currently scored in 16th. 17th position is going to be Andrew Elsom from the Peach State region of Zone 3. Car number 21 started in 22nd, 1 spot below his number, now in 17th. Upper Canada region driver of Zone 1, the number 34 machine, currently scored in the 18th spot, started 31st on the move up through the field. He's looking to catch that grouping in front and better that gain that he has had since beginning. Robert from the Intermountain region of Zone 9, the 89 machine started in the 30th position. A lot of drivers started deep in the field towards the back, has moved his way up to 19th. Finally, rounding out the top 20 is going to be Ken from the O'Hare-Dixon region of Zone 3. The 32 machine sporting a very red car here. Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta, trying to keep himself inside the top 20, Taylor.
21st is Dante Tornello from the Suncoast, Florida region. Zone 12 has had a quiet night so far. The driver of that number 27 is now worked his way up after gaining 4 spots since the drop of the green flag. Moving back to 22nd is the 777 Hill Country region's very own Mario Gonzalez, looking to see if he can keep a streak of luck going well for him, as he currently sits in 22nd. 23rd position is the recent Total region's Kevin Douglas in 23rd. The 810 driver is in a little bit of a class by himself right now. Not really a whole lot going on around him. He's just trying to complete laps and finish out the race strongly here. 24th is none other than Mike Knight in the Sunshine region in that red, white, and blue Porsche. He's working his way through, having a great run after starting, of course, in the 34th position. So he's gained about 10 spots since the drop of the green flag. Right behind him is Gary Rice, hometown for the Peach State region driver. He's in a heavy battle between him as the 17 and 71 will battle. 26 is the 043 of Tamer Albaga. The Race and Total region's driver had some troubles on the opening lap, but has been able to recover as he sits in that 26 spots after losing 10 spots at the drop of the green flag. George Markadakis, Greek Lightning, the Metropolitan New York region driver, not the best night that he's looking for after starting in 13th. He's down in 27th position right now, trying to recover the Pegasus Racing Porsche back up through the field. 28th position is James Hayosh, another driver not looking so good right now after starting 12th, dropping back to 28th. The Southeast Michigan driver in that yellow number 8 Porsche, looking to see if he can recover. 29th position is the last car on the lead lap, Marco Harris, the Connecticut Valley region's driver in car 981, working his way through the field right now after he has not gained or lost any positions. Rounding out your top 30, the first car 1 lap down after starting in the top 10, Klaus Nielsen from the Lone Star region is now sitting in 30th.
Behind them, it is Chris Duffy in 31st. The Florida Citrus region driver is down 3 positions from 28th. Michael Patterson in the Longhorn region, zone number 5, the 29 car. He is unfortunately down from 19th to 32nd, and he will be our last car on the track. So thank you for joining us from our midway race report for your club class here at Road Atlanta. Let's go back to our racing action on track, and it is a very close battle at the front with Gene Chen leading the way. Waltman right behind him, as we've had something happen to Doherty, I think, here. But Travis Brody's dropped back significantly. He's back in 6th. We'll see if Taylor can find out what happened to him. But Chen leads the way with Waltman right behind him, Leno, Rose, and Lacroix in that top 5 group, who actually are still in a big fight here.
Yeah, Rachel, and I actually just looked on lap 14 in between turns 6 and 7. Travis Brody just got a little sideways after getting onto the curb, spun it around, and just lightly nosed it into the inside concrete wall. So a little bit of contact and heartbreak for Travis Brody. Got it back going, but all the way back to the P6 position, several seconds behind our leader of Dean Chin. So it doesn't look like he will be in any position to battle for the lead here with about 6 minutes remaining from looking at my clock right now. But nevertheless, a good battle for the lead as Jonathan Waltman and Dean Chin are bumper to bumper as they work their way through the final chicane.
They are indeed. Waltman and Chen pushing hard here. We've got a pairing behind with Leno and Rose working this one round here as Brody's headed to pit road. Could be the end of his night there. Some separation a little bit further back as we get single car runs here to Ricky. But it's these 2 pairs at the front that really interest us.
Yeah, and those 4 drivers up at the front of the field and be battling very hard to try and keep those positions exactly where they want them, and it's going to be a good battle for the podium yet again. We saw it in the sport class race, and even though we had a change of car, Rachel, these drivers still battling very, very closely. These drivers looking to have a fight for the podium. As you can see, the 2 drivers in the 4th and 5th positions, or I apologize, the 3rd and 4th position, Jean-Paul Leno, Robert Rose, the 2 drivers battling hard in points and battling hard on the track as well. It's all 4 cars almost under a blanket as they work their way down the backstretch.
They do indeed. Well, looking at this it is definitely still for anybody here to win. Chen and Waltman are looking like they're really competitive for this, and if they fight at all, we've seen this track already, it will wind them in here, Taylor. But with the racing actually happening there, they're going for a possible lead change. Look at Waltman there on board with him. Looks to the outside of 6 here. But any battling, this could bring these 3 behind them right into this, and we'll suddenly have a 5-car fight for that win.
It certainly is looking that way as they come out of turn number 7, heading down the back straightaway towards turn 8 and 9. Dean Chen trying to hold off the winningest driver in the class this season, Jonathan Waltman. He is looking for win number 4 as they head down the back straightaway. Jean-Paul Leno second in the point standing. Robert Rose, your points leader, trying to also to get involved in this battle. He wants to have a shot to win the championship as they go through turn 10. Robert LaCroix watches on as your top 5 works their way out of the S's underneath the Fox Factory Bridge as they are continuing to do battle, but Waltman trying to find the opening to get around Dean Chen. Here they come down into turn 1, nose to tail lined up. Waltman tries to take a peek. He can utilize that lap car in front of your race leader of Dean Chen. Currently, that is none other than Michael Patterson, who is looking to go a lap down, the Matrix Motorsports driver, who goes in the grass. That could cause some issues for Chen as Waltman can't find the opening he needs.
Not yet, he can't, but the race is certainly not over yet, as we still have 2 minutes and 57 seconds left on our clock, and this is coming down to the wire here. Lap traffic ahead of Chen will help or hinder, as they'll both have to take compromised runs through 6 here. Will this be an opening for Waltman? But both of them have the same impediment, and it really actually hurt there. The guys behind them, Leno, Rose, and Lacroix, who kind of had that compromised run onto the main straight. And we could see a battle here. We could see, if I look at the suck up there, Waltman goes to the inside. It's going to be a no contest pass on your leader, Chen. The 187 is about to be passed by the 7, although it might not be. He hit a wall of air as he pulled out there, and oh, he goes ahead. He secures the position, and Chen gave him that one, I think, there, Taylor. I think he said, you're going to have me here, so you can have it. We'll fight back later. Rather than costing time, that was a sensible move.
Certainly was, Rachel. Keep an eye on this, though, as we can see. Can we see Dean Chen get back into the fight once they do pull away from your rest of the top 5? They're currently about a second, maybe 0.8 of a second now from Jean-Paul Leno in that 987, that Mardi Gras colored Porsche, as they come up to the top of the hill here at turn number 3. Leno's trying to showcase his speed here, as he is currently one of the top 3 fastest drivers in the top 5, along with Jonathan Waltman, who had the fastest lap. But look at Sean Murphy. He actually just set the fastest lap inside this battle here. He is 6th position right now with 123. So great driving for him right now, but a little bit too far back to try to catch up to the top 5 with only 1.5 minutes to go.
Pretty difficult to manage that one, I think anybody would agree, as now the last moments of this race are on the board here. We're looking at 1 minute and 10, so we will get our white flag this time by. Unlike the last race, it's definite when we'll see this. This will be our white flag. The clock will run out during the next race here as Waltman leading our way now into the chicane for the penultimate time here. And this has definitely been a tumultuous race. We've seen a lot go on in this, as right now he'll come under that Fox Factory Bridge across the line here at the Michelin Bridge, starting our last lap.
Yeah, Rachel, and these 2 drivers have been at it all race long, and it looks like Waltman just may have a little bit of a faster Porsche out there this evening as he's trying to pull away from Chen, and is doing so. The rest of the pack inside that top 5 still very close. Jean-Paul Leno and Robert Rose bumper to bumper, and Robert LaCroix is also joined that battle for the final step on the podium.
They are indeed. Last time up round here will go as the gap has widened between Waltman and Chen. This looks like it could be a set one here. Behind them is still pretty close with Leno and Rose and Lacroix. Will they be able to make that move? It's going to be really, really tight here, depending on who gets a good run, who doesn't. It could be a big factor. McGill caught a black flag for an incident a couple of minutes ago, by the way. That will change his positioning. Unfortunately for him, in fact it did, he's already off track, so guess it doesn't. But Right now, coming through the chicane for the final time, here will come Jonathan Waltman from 6th on the grid to the lead. One final time down the drop from the Fox Factory Bridge. Here he comes across the line. Jonathan Waltman takes the win with Dean Chen in 2nd place and Jean-Paul Leno in 3rd, closely followed by Rose and Lacroix. Murphy coming down behind them as well. Ricky, this one had its up and downs as well. Busy race.
Yeah, and I believe, Rachel, this is one of these tracks that has produced some phenomenal racing here tonight in all 3 classes we've seen so far, in another good battle for the 11th spot. So deeper in the field, these drivers still battling very hard, as almost side by side as they work their way down the hill. Couldn't quite get the move that is Ryan in the number 26 machine, but this track has produced some awesome racing for these drivers in PCA competition here tonight.
Very much so. Now the last of our cars coming across the line. We'll see Stuart Cottle, we'll see Tonetto, Neto, Eskridge, Gonzalez, Douglas, Alvaga, Rice, Knighton coming across here. All of those on the final straight now as Taylor? Road Atlanta's been busy.
It certainly has, Rachel. A lot of interesting factors here as we see the winningest driver in this class take home another checkered flag. This will be critical for him in the point standings, but also keep an eye on Robert Rose, Jean-Paul Leno with their top 5 finishes as well. This will be interesting to see how the points will rule out when we head to Imola next week.
We'll certainly have to see that now as the last of our cars across the line will get your post-race results for the club class, brought to us by Michelin. Jonathan Waltman from Zone 8 takes the win with Zone number 6 as Dean Chen in 2nd, and the 3rd step of the podium is Zone number 5, Jean-Paul Leno. Behind them, it is Robert Rose and Robert Lacroix, rounding out your top 5 with Sean Murphy, Dave Craig, Daniel Rubel, Michael McKinley, and Bruce Robinson in 10th. Behind them, it's going to be Ryan Kornowski in 11th with Jake Steinbrink, Jeremy Masriello, Jilan Wen, and Andrew Elsom in 15th. Rest of those results up on your screen. Last one for the night coming right up. It is going to be your pro class. Stay with us.
Hagerty is the world's largest provider of specialty insurance for enthusiast vehicles and supports keeping car culture alive through youth programs, the Historic Vehicle Association, the RPM Foundation, and more. Hagerty is home to key programs such as the Hagerty Drivers Club, Hagerty Drive Share, Hagerty Valuation Tools, the Hagerty Drivers Club magazine, and much, much more. For more information, visit their website at hagerty.com. PCA Sim Racing is proud to have Hagerty Motorsports as its 2021 title sponsor.
Welcome back to your fourth and final race of the night here from Road Atlanta for the PCA Series round number 7. We're here with the Pro Class race brought to us by Porsche. Porsche's more than a sports car. It's a way of life for all of us, and we appreciate the support of the PCA Sim Racing Series as the Pro Class sponsor. And with the recent sub-7-minute lap at the Nürburgring in the GT3 and the arrival of the all-new 992 GT3 Cup car to the US, Porsche's dedication to motorsports is stronger than ever. Find out more about Porsche at www.porsche.com. Well guys, here we are, final round, minutes left. Final thoughts from both of you, Ricky and Taylor?
Yeah, I believe that this race is going to be similar to what we've seen the first 3 classes here tonight, Rachel. These drivers are going to be going all out. It's getting to crunch time for the points for these drivers to be able to get and secure their spots in that battle as we come down to our final race at Imola. These drivers are going to be pushing it hard at all points of the field. We saw battles all the way back to the 15th spot at the end of the last race in the club class, so I expect nothing less from these drivers. We've had our fair share of storylines as well, so I'd expect that.
Certainly will be. Well, let's do our grid before we go any further here tonight. Leading the way, Cameron Martineau will take us off today from pole position of zone number 3. Second place is zone number 5, Christopher Pies, with Billy Smith the second, zone 5 in third. And this being the Texas race, zone number 5, William Anderson is 4th, with Leif Peterson of the same zone in 5th. 6th is zone number 1's Liam Rizikis. Zone 3 is Chris Walsh in 7th. 8th place to number 3 is Jacob Shum, with 9th. Zone number 6 is Arthur Chan. Chris Braun of zone 1 is in 10th, with 11th place being Matthew Siddle of zone 5. 12th is number 13's Joe Stiffel. Zone 13's Trey Jawthorne in 13th. 14th is number 1's James Huth, with Rich Minkler of zone 9 in 15th. Rest of the starting positions on your screen as we get ourselves ready to kick it off here one final time this evening at Road Atlanta. And wow, we've had a busy night of racing action here. What's the points looking like? It's Pies out front from Cooper Smith, Peterson, Amarim, Dyer, Huth, Anderson, Stiffel, Minkler, Rizikis. Your top 10 in the points for Pro Series with 2 to go, and the gap between first and second, that is 6 points. That is nothing. But before we start moving, what is the one thing we're not seeing here today? Points to whoever notices.
I would probably have to say we do not see. I feel like we're missing.
Smith.
Yeah,
Michael Cooper Smith, not here. Second place in the points. 6 points behind Pies. Not anymore. No matter where he finishes. Because the next guy back is about 100 points back as the green flag flies. And we are go here at Road Atlanta. Cameron Martineau leads away with Amarim second place, Pies, and Smith third and fourth. And it is a knot at the front of your track here as we dive into 1, 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. It's like a start of a NASCAR race. Look at, oh my, really? 3 wide? You guys serious? Guess they were. They made it somehow.
They certainly did, Rachel, as they work their way down the S's here now. Once again, the field's starting to get a little bit now bunched back up together as Cameron Martineau will lead the field as they come out of turn number 5 right now, about 0.6 of a second. But Rafael Amarin, Christopher Pies, Billy Smith II, Liam Razitas all piled in together here as they work their way through turn number 6. Coming up into turn 7, Razitas tries to get to the inside of Billy Smith, but will not be able to make it work as they work down the long back straightaway here Cars are now getting up to temperature, looking actually at the track conditions as we speak. They constantly have been on the change. Track temperature is 91 degrees, partly cloudy skies with the winds out of the east at 10 miles an hour. So very different conditions that we've seen all day long here with the PCA Sim Racing Series here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. But as they climb out of turn number 10, Cameron Martineau is under heavy pressure from Rafael Amorin as they come across the line to complete lap number 1.
They certainly are, as it's definitely no let up here. Martineau leads away, but not for long. Amorim wants something out of this race. If he can get it sooner, the better. Ricky, this thing has become quite busy on track. We've seen certain passing zones really evolve here. Driving this track, just tell me, what is it like as a driver where you're looking to really set these things up? Is it always about the chicane?
Not always, Rachel. This track is a very flowing track at the beginning. You really want to get that good balance of getting into those corners and really flowing and keeping the momentum. Going through the S's, you want to have that momentum, especially turn 3 at the very top of the hill. If you don't hit that corner just right, Rachel, you could end up stalling your whole momentum down through the S's, up the hill to turn 5, all the way to turn 6 at the very top half of the course. So the front half of the course flows very well. You have to make sure that you have that momentum. The back half of the course, it's all about braking. Right into turn 6, you're going to get hard braking, and then right here as you come into 10A and 10B, the hardest braking zone on the track, these drivers really going to struggle all race long here in this 30-minute sprint race to get hard into that chicane there. As you can see, the front 2 drivers are just very good on the brakes there. They look pretty much dead even as they entered into that last chicane, and that's going to be one of the biggest passing points come late in the race, catching the slipstream from the driver in front of you, racing them hard down into that final chicane.
It certainly is, and looking out front, Martineau and Amorim have made a break here. They've got 1.3 seconds over Pies and Smith before Rizik is behind them with last week's winner. And Anderson here, Peterson, Schum, Walsh. Taylor, clean start to this one from what we've seen so far. These guys have kept it together. Everybody's on the racetrack.
Just as you say that, though, Rachel, Cameron Martineau decides to not follow that, as the commentator's curse will come into play. He actually loops it around coming up into turn number 5. We talked about how treacherous that corner is in all of sports car racing, as he is now going to be dropping down to the bottom of the field.
Right, as I said it, I ruined the whole thing. I do apologize to you, the viewers. Cameron Martineau drops himself back a few spots, but we'll see where he can get back up to. Not the end of the race, apparently, according to things tonight. It could be anything to play for, but let's see Amorim out front of his own, which will mean he's killed his draft here, Ricky, compared to the guys behind him who are all running together. This means we'll probably see him catch up, right?
It really depends, Rachel, on if those drivers behind him are going to want to work together. That's really the name of the game when trying to catch a pack or a driver in front of you here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. Is these drivers going to have to work together down that long back straightaway, not get side by side, and stay in a very uniform line to catch that number 13 machine currently in the lead. But back to what happened to Cameron there. I talked about it just before the first race had started tonight, before the challenge class race. Those curbs going off into turn 5, very tall. It seemed like Cameron just got barely on that right side curb before turn 5, and it unsettled the car as it slammed back down to the ground, and is what ended up bringing that machine around. And unfortunately for him, he'll go way deep into the field. So we take a look. He's all the way to dead last, Rachel. So 25th for Cameron Martineau now, as that's going to be a very unfortunate race for him. Was really looking for a good finish for the point standings going into the final race. But Amorin in the 13 machine definitely liked what he saw, and he's trying to pull out a lead here.
Certainly is, and Amorim in a great position, currently running 4th in the standings, with Peterson as well, and no Coopsmith here, so it's really Pies and Peterson who are the real competitors. But a little bit further forward from these guys, we've got a good battle evolving with Peterson himself and the guys behind him. Schum, Walsh, Chan, Anderson, Braun, everybody. Oh my god, look at this into turn 1 here, Taylor. It's a dogfight.
It certainly is a dogfight. We're going to take them 3 wide before they get into turn number 1 now as we watch on the battle here for the position. Jacob Schum leading this gaggle of cars. Now make it William Anderson and Leif Peterson who will lead it in the 5th spot as they work their way down through the S's. Peterson, of course, the defending series champion, trying to see if he can do that so as we find out from Cameron Martineau that he has pulled it behind the garage. His day is done. But William Anderson, Leif Peterson battling strong as we see now Chris Walsh take the peak to the inside of Anderson as they go through turn number 6. As you're on board with Chris Walsh, the Carolinas Region's driver, right on the back bumper of William Anderson, along with Jacob Schum, Chris Braun, and Arthur Chan, your top 10 as they head down the long back straightaway. This is what's so exciting, Rachel, about the pro class. It's very intense, very exciting, and you never know who can come out on top. Here's, in fact, a pass for the position as we see Chris Walsh look to the inside, side by side. That bomber Air Force Porsche will try to dive into the inside, complete the pass as he will send it in there. Here comes Jacob Schum. He's going to take it on the outside coming out of turn 10.
Big move by Schum there as he goes for it as well. Turn 10's outside is a tough place to do it, but do it he does as there is still a humongous battle on track. All of these cars really putting all the work in to make this a really fun race for themselves. Loving what they're doing here. Big fight, and I do say myself, I love Chris Walsh's machine. That nose art, Warbird style, the US Air Force Special Warfare sponsored machine. Looking phenomenal on the racetrack there, but this big pack around Schum, Braun, Chan, and Siddle, this is intense racing, Ricky.
Yeah, 7th through 12th is that grouping right there, Rachel, and all of them nose to tail, battling very hard as I believe, 13th now, as Joe in the 003 machine, that Tiger machine that we talked about so much this season, has just entered the battle as well. Call that as somebody entering the chat, trying to battle here for a top 10 position as these drivers drive hard down the back straightaway. This is where these drivers can get into that grouping to catch cars in front of them when they work together, as right now they kind of split working their way into the chicane, but these drivers battling super hard to try and continue their spot. But Billy Smith now into the 3rd spot. He's got a step on the podium right now. The Maverick region is zone 5. Number 70 machine piloting it. He's looking to get on that podium here tonight at Road Atlanta.
So he is doing what he can to make that move happen. But right now it's Amarim with Pies and Smith. Amarim, 2.8 second gap. Taylor, he's really put a big one together for this. He's pulling hard. He was before when Martin was there, but on his own, he's just holding this thing to the floor.
He certainly is, Rachel. Rafael Marine has currently been running the most fastest lap times of the race so far consistently with a 121.42 last time around. He currently sets also the fastest lap of the race with a 121.21.9. So for Christopher Pies, he has his work cut out for him here as they work down the back straightaway heading into turn 10A, 10B. Christopher Pies does have a former series champion behind him. That's Billy Smith II as they work their way down. This is the battle for 2nd position as they head down into turn 10. As we just got word from race control, James Hugh has been black flagged for an incident as here comes Billy Smith now for the 2nd spot. He'll take a peek to the inside underneath the Fox Factory Bridge, but Christopher Pies will hold on to the position as they come out of the final corner across the line.
Making a move under the Fox Bridge is a little bold in terms of choices, but not impossible. So definitely a place to look for it, but you're going to have to be looking very hard and very carefully to let that happen. Because right now it is Pies, Smith, Rizikis, they're your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place runners. And we may have a battle for the lead, but we have a huge one for the podium. Taylor.
We certainly do. Right now, this is the battle for the podium. Here comes Liam Radzitis. Now he will get into this battle for the podium finishes of 2nd or 3rd position. As they work their way into turn 6, Radzitis will go to the outside, cross over to the inside as he tries to find a way. He actually gets almost on the back bumper of Billy Smith as they come out of turn number 7. Contact is made. Around goes Billy Smith. Liam Rosita stops and lets Billy Smith get around, but with those two getting together, that's going to allow Leif Peterson as well as Christopher Walsh to get around, and here comes Jacob Schum. Now, we're going to have a gaggle of cars here down the back straightaway for about 3rd all the way to 13th, battling here for position. 3 wide battle for the 4th or 5th position as we see Chris Braun try to take the outside the long way around. More 3 wide action as they head into turn 10. Close call indeed. Jacob Schum comes out on top.
They're not giving this one the side. There's more contact there coming under the bridge towards the end of the lap. That was the 70 and the 258. As this thing getting intense right here.
Yes, Rachel, and one thing I do want to say right here is Liam had a really A-class move right there. That was a gentleman move to let the driver in front of him that he ended up making contact with get back going. That's not something you see a whole lot of in racing in general, especially sim racing, and a great job by Liam to make the gentleman move and make the right decision. It was a mistake on his part, ended doing right by it. Of course, him and Billy Smith both lose positions, but did the right thing and ended up giving Billy Smith that position back.
And we've seen the most sportsmanship, I think, in any series here. But right up, we're going to have a quick chat to the podiums from our club class. First up, Jonathan Waltman came home today with a win. Fantastic race, Jonathan. Busy on track. Tell us about it from your point of view.
I didn't have quite the pace in qualifying. Started 6th. Knew the track was hot. Knew that I might have pace in the race. So, just worked my way up one by one. There was one corner in particular that I passed, I think, 2 or 3 cars. And, got some luck with lap traffic as well.
Just what's it drive this 911 GT3 car on a hot track?
It's, it's pretty slippery. You got to be patient on the throttle. The tight hairpin coming onto the back straight. I just had to keep waiting. If I got on too early, I'd be drifting out of the corner and lose straight speed. But as long as you're smooth with your inputs and you manage the tires, it's not so bad.
How are the tires for a 30-minute race somewhere like here?
I don't think wear is too big of an issue, but they do build up heat, especially if you're racing the other cars. So yeah, you just gotta manage the heat and manage the grip, and when the grip falls off, you gotta respect that, and you can't run the same times as you did on lap 5, 6, 7.
Well, fantastic. Anybody like to put a shout out to or thank before we let you go tonight?
Yeah, friends and family, Podium Esports, PCA, all the sponsors. You guys do a great job.
Thanks for joining us tonight. Jonathan Waltman coming home with a win at Atlanta for the club class. And we don't have Dean Chen, but we do have Jean-Paul Lano, who's joining us with Cheddar Burris.
Hey, John, congratulations on your podium finish here tonight. One of the things that we wanted to point out is, with this finish here, it's going to help you out with the point standings. How confident do you feel going into Imola with this battle that you have between yourself and the rest of the field?
Well, I tell you what, I don't have a lot of confidence. I was really slow with this new, I got to work on these setups, and I thought I was going to really qualify in the mid, and I got a lucky qualifying lap, and I was able to hold everybody off behind me. But I don't know. I got some work to do to learn how to set up this car to get it a little faster. But I don't have a lot of experience at Imola, but I'll be practicing, and I hope I can get a good finish.
Well, before we let you go, John, anyone you would like to give a shout out to?
Oh yeah, the shout out to all of the PCA club sport drivers. They're great guys at PCA. You guys do a fantastic job at podium, and Michelin, Pirelli, Hagerty, and of course my 2 fans, my brother Louie and my wife Deborah.
All right, that is Jean-Paul Lano coming home with a podium finish here as we now go back, I believe. Do we have actually Jonathan Waltman ready?
It would have been Mr. Chen, who's
Chen.
We had a chance to talk to. I don't think he's here, but we will unfortunately not get a chance to talk to second place. That was Waltman first and the Jean-Paul Lano third there for the interviews. But moving back to the track, boys and girls, we have just under halfway to go. So with that in mind, it's time for your midway race report brought to you today by Porsche. Porsche is more than a sports car. It's a way of life for all of us, and we appreciate their support of the PCA Sim Racing Series as the Pro Class sponsor. With the recent sub-7-minute lap at the Nürburgring in the GT3 and the arrival of the all-new 992 GT3 Cup car to the US, Porsche's dedication to motorsports is stronger than ever. Find out more about Porsche at www.porsche.com. Well, with that in mind, let's take a look at our cars as Rafael Amorim leads the way here tonight. The Peach State region of Zone 3 driver in the 13 car started second, and he is leading the way by a margin of 4.4 seconds. Second place is Christopher Pires, the Texas driver from the Lone Star region of Zone 5 in that 14 machine. Started third, he's up to second. Behind him, Billy Smith is still P3. Luckily, he managed to get that position back there. Maverick region again, Zone 5, the 70 machine, up another one from where he started, in fourth. Chris Walsh, the Carolinas region driver of Zone 3, the 104 car, is up 4 spots, biggest mover in the top 5. Well, he was about to be. Second biggest mover in the top 5, up 4 places from 8th. P5 is the biggest mover in the top 5, Arthur Chan, up from 10th place to 5th, the 50 car of Canada West region, Zone number 6. Matthew Siddle is in P6 there from the Lone Star region, Zone 5. 55 car is currently up 6 places from 12th. The Tiger machine of Joe Stiffel, the Chicago region driver from Zone 13, the 003, is up from 13th by 5 places. And 8th place, Joe Sinclair Jr., the Dipacanda region, Zone 1, the 212, is up a whopping 10 places from 18th on the grid.
William Anderson in the 9th spot, the 41 machine from the Longhorn region of Zone 5, started 5th, down quite a few positions to the 9th position now, looking to get back into that battle. Rick Rensenberg from the Barrow region of Zone 7 in car number 11 started in the 17th spot, now running 10th. 11th place is going to be Carlos Lopez from the Maverick region of Zone 5, started in the 25th spot. Has worked his way almost inside of the top 10, looking to push hard here towards the end of the race. Jonathan Shum from the Carolinas region of Zone 3, number 97, having a quiet night here tonight, looking to battle and stay inside of the top 15, possibly push his way up in the points standings. Stephen Chen from the Zone 7, car number 8, currently scored in P13, started in the 22nd spot, running some good lap times out there right now, but some cars filling up his rearview mirror as he works his way into turn 3. 14th spot, going to be Mark Huth from the St. Louis region of Zone 10, car number 34, started in the 23rd position, so drivers that started 22nd and 23rd, bumper to bumper in the 13th and 14th spots now. 15th spot, going to be Jordan Dreyer from Zone 10. The number 25 machine has a little bit of front end damage. Not a whole lot of cars around him currently, trying to stay out of trouble for the rest of the race. 16th spot, going to be Rich Micker from the Rocky Mountain region of Zone 9. Car number 76 still looking very clean with a couple of scrapes, but just trying to continue to finish out the race. Taylor.
Richard Franco is in 17th position. The Potomac region driver started 24th, has had a nice gain of position since the drop of the green flag. He is looking to gain more as we get closer to the end of tonight's race. 18th is Ed Eisenring from the Pacific Northwest region, Zone 6, car 929, pretty much by himself right now, trying to bring home a decent finish. In the 19th position, James Hughes from the Hudson Champlain region, trying to recover after a penalty he had to serve at the beginning of the race here, but looking strong still as he sits 19th, the last car on the lead lap. 20th is Jacob Schoon from the Carolinas region. Tough break for him. He got involved in an incident between Leon Rositas, Leif Peterson, and more, so a tough break for him as he is the first car one lap down. 21st is Trey Drawhorn in that 395 Porsche, one of the fan favorites from the Chicago region, in 21st. 22nd, the last car out on the field is none other than Chris Braun from the Northeast region in that Speed Secrets Porsche. He's looking to see if he can recover, but it's going to be a tall order. Rest of the field is Leif Peterson, Liam Rositas, and Cameron Martineau, your rest of the field in 23rd, 4th, and 5th.
That was your midway race report in the Pro Class, brought to us by Porsche. And wow, busy so far today in the pro class, as Amarim up front is opening that gap to a whopping 6.3 seconds. Pies has 10 seconds to Smith the second in third place. So it's really opened up back there, but Chris Walsh, he wants to disagree with that. He's coming for that position on the 70. He's side by side here with Billy Smith, Ricky. Oh, contact! Round he goes.
Yeah, that was a close battle there. Chris Walsh had a little bit of contact with Leif Peterson, is why is he out of the race right now. Unfortunate event for those drivers. A lot has happened since we went to interviews, as we'll take a quick look at the replay here. That 3-car battle right there of Billy Smith, Chris Walsh, and Arthur Chen, I believe, were all 3 right there, and you can see the pass going down to the bottom side. Chris Walsh trying to make it work. See exactly what happened here. No contact so far. It just looks like that machine of Billy Smith came across the track, maybe thinking that Chris Walsh was going to back out for turn 3. Ended up not backing out there. So a little bit of contact made with those drivers, but some of them continue to move on with the race. Chris Walsh, however, on pit road. And I believe that will spell the end for his race here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta.
You're very right there. It is unfortunate for him, but that will be the end of his race with the way things are looking. I'm sure we'll see some review from that by race control. But the time is scoring to pretty big gaps right now, Taylor. But a lot of this track is about maintaining that rhythm. We heard Ricky talk about it. And as we see towards the front of the field now, some of these guys putting in some serious legwork on the racetrack. It's been very dynamic to every single race we've seen here. We've had racing going long form. We've seen it being very compact and on top of each other. But Amarim, he's just putting his laps in, but he's kept away from the guys behind him who were ready to get a pack, and they've now separated out. So what's his secret?
It's showing consistency, hitting his mark, and making sure he runs the fastest lap times out there for the most part, Rachel. He has been also making the least amount of mistakes, which you can do when you're out there by yourself and able to build a bit of a gap here. And Rafael knows how to do that, and especially he has learned quite a bit compared to the previous seasons. He's always been fast, but never has he been able to close the gap here until this season. He has shown the speed and the consistency. So if he's able to do this, he may bring it home to a career win.
May indeed, as the racing around 5th place getting very busy. Stiffel is out front, and let's see if that Tiger can hold off the Hunters behind him, because Siddle, Sinclair, Anderson and Reisenberg are all there wanting a piece of this action as they come under the bridge. We're going to have 6 minutes remaining on the clock now at Road Atlanta. This track has been unforgiving tonight. It has been tumultuous and it has been action-packed. But right now, this is our big battle around here, Ricky, from about 5th place back, well, I should say 6th place really here, back to about 9th. We're seeing some real action from with these 4 cars.
Yeah, and I believe that's been the story of the pro class here tonight. A bunch of drivers will get in the line and just continue to go to battle. We've seen it throughout the whole entire race. It's probably about the most spread out we've seen one of these gatherings all race long, but the pro class has not disappointed with the type of racing we've seen tonight, Rachel. These drivers have been going for every inch of space and huge points implications. Of course, we haven't quite seen the drama that we have seen in the other 3 classes, with everything forming to end up with the points going into Imola. But a couple of drivers definitely taking a huge hit in the points, like Leif Peterson, who had an issue pretty early in the going here and is still out of the race, and I believe is not even on track anymore. But this battle is definitely heating up, and as they start to spread out a little bit, you could see that start to close as they work their way down the front straightaway. Some of these drivers getting a better run out of turns 10A and B down to the final corner, and trying to catch up to Matthew in the 55 Porsche and try and make that a battle for inside the top 5.
That top 5 has been our busy sight, as mentioned, all race long, and just a great lot of racing we've seen tonight, from challenge, from sport, from club, and here pro. It has been a really busy racetrack to this evening for 4 of our rounds. And especially with the big changes we saw to the 911, this is something, Taylor, I wanted to mention is, iRacing made changes to the 911 with this build day. So we've kind of been thrown for 60. These drivers have not had a lot of time to practice this car.
No, they certainly have not, Rachel. This car has been recently updated thanks to the new build that we have, and of course these drivers are trying their best to learn, and it will take time for them to get used to the new updates and changes. But I'm pretty sure when we go to Imola next week, it will showcase that the cars are a little bit more better to handle and more interesting. In fact, I talked not too long ago, earlier today, with J.R. Gregory, and he was saying that the weight upper class drivers were going to have more difficulties of trying to learn the car in the short period of time. So it's going to be interesting to see if they're able to hang on to these cars in the closing laps. Some drivers have been able to showcase that, such as Rafael Marin and Christopher Pies and Billy Smith. But as we saw, some issues such as Liam Rositas, Cameron Bartoneau, and Leif Peterson and Chris Walsh, they have been not able to hold on to the car, and unfortunately their day is done.
Fortunate when that sort of thing happens, but happen it does in fact do in motor racing. You gotta first finish to finish first is the old saying, and it always holds true. But we did mention that this has been very clean. It's been single car into this riddle we've seen in Pro Class so far here, Ricky, but they've been holding it together. Right now it's P5 there. Chicago's Joe Stiffel is putting this thing to work, holding off Sinclair and Siddle behind him. It is definitely not going to be quiet for him.
Yeah, and that Tiger machine, we haven't really gotten to see that 003 Porsche up towards the front of the field as much as he would want to be this season. But as a pass now down to the inside, it's going to look like a side-by-side battle as they work their way into turns 10 A and B. This is shaping up to be a really good race for the 5th spot now. It's Arthur Chan just ahead of this grouping here. But both Joes going at it here as the one in the black machine is Sinclair. Of course, the 003 machine is Stiffel in that Tiger machine. And just out back of them is the 55 machine of Matthew, just watching this unfold and see exactly what happens. But a good battle to try and make it inside the top 5. Points are ever so important. I've said it again, and I'll say it, well, 10 more times before the end of the broadcast here tonight, that these drivers are fighting for every single point that they can get to put themselves in the best possible spot with only 1 week left of PCA competition here. And we'll just have to see how well it's going to play out for these drivers, but battling very hard for even just inside the top 5, not even a podium spot.
When racing is as close as it is in the Pro Series, contact! Stiffel at contact with Sinclair there as he gets turned in turn 8. I'm pretty positive, Taylor, that will get reviewed.
Probably.
What's happened there?
Yeah, let's take a look at the replay to see what happened here. Here's Joe Stiffel. He's coming through turns 6 and 7. Not too far behind. You'll see Siddle. There's the contact, and for Sinclair, that's going to be keeping an eye on race control and possibly a penalty. We'll let you know once more is released by our race officials.
As I think the door's open. Oh, wait, no, it's closing on my toes. Sort of moment, unfortunately. One of those racing moments as white flag is out on the racetrack. One more time around here at Road Atlanta for the Pro Series, and Rafael Amram is off on his own. 9.9 seconds away, nearly 10 seconds, in fact, by this point in time. The west region of Canada. Amram is putting in absolutely amazing work tonight on track. His last lap was a 121.7, which is just storming. 122.6 for Pies, 122.2 for Smith, Chan a 21.9, Sinclair a 23.5. Amram is by far and wide one of our fastest cars on this racetrack. In fact, the fastest car in the top 5 right now, as would be identified by his speed and positioning. Through the chicane for the final time, he'll come under that Fox factory bridge. Under he'll come and across the line to win in round number 7 here of the Pro Class at Road Atlanta. That's Michigan Raceway Road Atlanta, of course. Michelin Raceway Rose. Definitely having a stroke. Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta for the Pro Class. Pies comes home in second, with Smith the second coming under the banner now, just ahead of Arthur Chan to secure third and fourth. Joe Sinclair Jr. will come down for 5th place, with Siddle behind him. and Stiffel behind them, although I'm pretty sure Race Control has something to say about that. Anderson, Lopez coming down now. Huth behind him. Taylor, final thoughts before we finish this thing tonight?
What excitement that we've had, and major shakeups in the point standing. Of course, Christopher Pies and Billy Smith coming home in second and third. No surprises there, but a couple of other drivers involved in major incidences. Leif Peterson, Cameron Martineau, of course, some of the strong competitors in tonight's race that unfortunately were involved in incidents. That's going to affect their points championship run here as we come to a close to this season.
We do, and that really impacted things, I think, tonight. But Ricky, just what do you think of that last moment there, the incident involving Stiffel?
I believe it was just close racing there. I believe that really Sinclair put the machine that he had in a spot that he thought was right, and the door just closed on him. Really a very aggressive racing incident. I won't take that away from St. Clair. That was a very aggressive move, but coming down to the wire here of the season, those are the type of moves that you have to make. And unfortunately, Stiffel just was right there and closed the door on him. So a racing incident, but if the fault had to be placed, it's on St. Clair. But nevertheless, those two drivers battled hard all race long, and it's really unfortunate to see them get together at the end.
Certainly is. Well, with that, our post-race results. Coming home with the win, Rafael Amorim comes home for zone number 3 with zone 5's Christopher Pies and his zone mate Billy Smith II in 3rd. 4th place is Arthur Chan with Joe Sinclair Jr. in 5th. Matthew Siddle is in 6th with Joe Stiffel, William Anderson, Carlos Lopez and Mark Huth in 10th. 11th place will be Rick Reisenberg with Jonathan Schum, Rick Winkler, Jordan Dyer and Stephen Chen in 15th place. Well, with that, let's go to our post-race interviews. We got Rafael Amorim right with us right now. Fantastic driving tonight, Rafael. After Cameron Martineau's moment, you just drove this thing away from the field.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it was a great race, and everything just kind of just clicked. It just worked. I just kind of got into a good flow, and I'm thrilled to be winning at my home track. It's just fantastic. I'm so happy.
Amazing consistency there and a huge gap at the end. 10.5 seconds over second place. Obviously, this car has just updated. It's been redesigned. How was it actually out on track?
It was it's really nice to drive now. It's got a ton more grip, but at the same time, towards the second half of the race, you start losing a lot of the rear tires. So it got really sketchy towards the end, and I had to really be careful. I was kind of managing my gap to Chris, and I could still increase the gap a little bit, but I was trying to really be careful, not to overdo it and just lose it all with a mistake. It does get really tough at the end when the tires are too warm.
A huge factor. Anybody like to give a shout out to or thank after the race?
Well, as always, everyone in the PCA Sim Racing. I think we have a great group of people, and this is so much fun. The sponsors, Michelin, Porsche, and Hagerty, and also to you all that kind of do the broadcast. It's always fun to watch after, and you all do a great job. And last, obviously, my wife and my family that kind of support me through this.
Fantastic result there for you. Well, thanks for joining us. Rafael Amorim coming home today with the win at Red Atlanta in the Pro Series.
Thank you.
Next up will be Christopher Pies standing by with Ricky Springer.
And Christopher Pies, of course, bringing it home in the second place here. Second step on the podium for the Still Austin Whiskey Company Porsche. And a great job here tonight. You're just going to extend that points lead just the slightest bit more. Christopher, how do you feel after tonight's race?
I feel pretty good, although a little bit shocked. I mean, Rafael, man, what a race from him. He just ran away with it. I was trying to both conserve tires and keep him somewhat in my sight, but he just took off, and kudos to Rafael. He got it figured out, and he drove a great race.
Certainly, and to just extend your points lead a little bit with only one race to go here in the season of PCA competition, does that give you any sort of kind of clarification going into the last race that maybe you have a little bit of a buffer that if something does happen, you can kind of consider yourself a little safe?
Yeah, it is close, but I expect Cooper Smith to be there, and everybody to be fighting hard. It's worked so far for me to have a strategy of treat each race as its own thing, and so I'm going to keep driving the way I've been driving. I'm not going to change my game plan, and I'm going to be there trying to get on the podium at Imola. It's a track I'm not necessarily too familiar with, so I need to practice going into it, but I'll schedule some testing, and I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And finally, Christopher, is there anybody you'd like to thank for your podium finish here tonight?
Oh, yeah, it's my family, Casey Carden Motorsports, Denton Brothers Racing, who helped me do this in real life. And special shout out to our race director, DJ. You are the sunshine that brightens these races for me. Thank you so much for what you do. He was saying the other day that we didn't give him enough kudos, so I wanted to give him a special shout out on the interview.
Absolutely, and that was Christopher Pies, who brings it home in the second spot here tonight in the Pro Class. Taylor Burris is now with our third place finisher, Billy Smith.
Here with Billy Smith coming home third place here tonight. Billy, a great performance. You battled with Christopher Pies for second all race long. How did your race feel for you overall?
Well, it felt a bit crazy, to be honest. Of course, there were some changes to the car today. Probably gambled with not quite enough downforce, which was going to be interesting to say the least, not knowing how it would perform on the long run. But just after the spin there, getting spun and then having to really baby the tires there, it was just trying to hold on for dear life in third place. It would have been a lot of fun, though, to run with Chris. It seemed like we were about the same pace.
Talk about the incident that happened between you and Liam, about what your thoughts was regarding that.
Well, I think he was probably just being really aggressive, and I honestly probably caught him off guard. I was trying to not let him get a run down the back straightaway there, and play those games, and sometimes that stuff happens. Obviously it's the responsibility of the car behind to not do that, but that's the risk you take as well.
Well, before we let you go, anyone you would like to give a shout out to?
Just want to congratulate Raphael. It's a freaking fantastic race, super fast, figured it out. So congrats to him. Thanks to you guys, thanks to the PCA and everyone behind the scenes that puts it on. And just want to say hi to my girlfriend Lillian.
Of course, that is Billy Smith coming home in third place tonight.
Well, that brings tonight's events to a close here in PCA Sim Racing. Do not forget to join us for Race 8 next week at Autodromo Internazionale Enzo Edino Ferrari, better known as Imola, on Wednesday the 16th at 8 p.m. Eastern on this very channel. The finale of the season, and it is going to be big. We will see you then. For Doug Atkinson, Jim Hemming, and the steering committee at PCA Sim Racing, for James Pike, Gary Sexton, Cisco Scaramuza, and John Theodore at Podium Esports, and for our producer Ryan Bauer, our camera creator Dougie Beard, and for my colleagues Ricky Springer and Taylor Burris, I'm Rachel Whiteford. Thank you so much for watching tonight's broadcast of PCA Sim Racing, presented by Hagerty. We hope you'll join us next Wednesday live from Imola. Good night.